for example. You're like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. But honestly, I think that's what's so cool about computers and gaming, is that anyone can participate. And that used to kind of mean, you know, anyone but normal people.
Yeah.
But now it's actually anyone. And I think that's been a big change over, I don't know, I guess, like the last 10 years? Like, when did gaming go really mainstream? When was it not weird for a celeb to, you know, post a picture of them just like chilling, playing games on their PlayStation or on their PC?
It's been, yeah. I think your timeline's pretty good. My group of friends was always weird in that regard. Because, like, most of my friends at school were people who played sports, and then we would LAN party every weekend. So we had that, like, it was a slightly surprising combination of people.
And you know what? Look, okay, Adford Twitch says people are complex, judged by appearance. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
People tune their appearance. People make decisions that affect their appearance. If somebody has purple hair and is wearing cat ear headphones and you know is wearing like a an EA branded hoodie or something, we're like, okay, probably a gamer. That doesn't mean that I went, oh, they have a big nose, they're probably a gamer. There's a lot of aspects of people's appearance that they can have an impact.
Dude, when Mass Effect was popular, the Mass Effect sweaters, they were like all over the place.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So I just want to be very clear what I'm talking about here. People can have a look that is nothing to do with the color of their skin or their facial hair or their height or their, you know, hairstyle, or no, hairstyle, yes, hairstyle, no, that's not what it, or their body type or whatever else.
Hold your breath. If you have a respiratory system,
how they want to present themselves to the world. So that's one of the big ones.
Oh, somebody in Floatplane chat said the head dent, and I thought they were talking about my scar.
We haven't talked about this on WAN show. Okay, hold on a second. I saw the videos. I'm still not sure if I quite believe that is really?
An enemy landed
Oh wait, what? I meant the hair one.
No, you didn't see the people that are like, no, I stream 10 hours a day, I have a dent in my head?
No.
I can't believe you didn't see this.
No, I thought you meant just hair.
I'm bringing this up for you. You guys are going to go have to find it for yourselves.
Oh, Tyler won? Yeah, I don't think that's...
I am down.
Yeah, no.
Okay, hold on. That looks...
Yeah, I don't think...
Look. Hold on.
Say one, we're all inside.
Here we go. Tim the Tap Man.
Really normal place for your head to dip, your skull to dip inward slightly though? Like, I don't think that's...
Mine doesn't. Here.
Yeah, but you wear headphones all the time.
I know, but mine doesn't dip in.
That's my point though.
Well, okay, but hold on a second. I think it probably makes a difference what kind of headphones you wear. Like, I wear very padded headphones that have the correct clamping pressure on the side, so there's basically no
Tyler
pressure
one
on
wear
my
those
head.
like Logitech blue ones that have like huge thick
Yeah,
pads?
Logitechs.
Really thick pads.
Okay, there's more to life than the thickness of the pad, though. Remember, the next thing out of my mouth.
The pad.
What?
It's just a heck of a statement, that's all.
More cushion, less cushion, doesn't matter.
Yeah, so we both wear very light Sennheisers.
Yes, and with good clamping pressure on the ear cups. So there's actually very little, like here. Like, I can wear these like this if I really want to. They're not going to fall off, right? So if all of the weight is just hanging off of the headband, I mean, maybe.
So maybe people need to invest in some lighter headphones with better side of head clamping pressure.
I also don't wear headphones for as long a period at a time as some of these streamers do. With that said, some of these do look just like too much to be believed.
I think people just have different shaped skulls, and two of them happen to be people who play games.
So you're saying that if you ever see someone with a weird shaped skull, you assume they're a gamer? We just talked earlier on the show about how that's not okay, Luke.
Oh,
what's your problem?
Goodness. Oh
Actually,
my goodness.
All right, do you want to hit us with one more merch message?
Sheesh. Yeah, we're doing 4 apparently.
Yeah, we do 4 now. All right, I'll read it. Hey, Linus and Lee. My SO and I bought half a dozen LTT stealth hats when they were released a long time ago. I was sad to see them go. They were gone when I tried to buy new ones. You have half a dozen already.
Yeah, what?
How many hats do you need?
Big things are coming to us.
Is your head shaped
That's
such that you...
3
it's
hats
like got
per
6
person.
like bulb or 7, I guess. You need more. You know, bulbous like things
It's
on
from
it
gaming too
Put all
much.
the hats. Yeah, it's probably from being too big brained. So smart from shopping at lttstore.com for high quality products.
Oh wow.
In all seriousness, we do have hats coming again. They're not going to be the same as that one. They will be very stealthy though, and they will be better quality. We have one coming that's even water resistant. Fabulous.
Land is poppy big.
Advertised as waterproof. I just won't call it waterproof, so I'm going to call it water resistant, but it's quite water resistant.
Yeah.
They are not coming for a little bit. Oh, right, the last things that I need to talk through for merch message stuff. Man, you guys gotta buy less merch today though, because we have gaming to do,
Yeah,
and
we
we
gotta
are
get
not going to be able to get through all of them.
Yeah.
So, but also we have really cool stuff for you to buy.
We gotta talk about that backpack.
Yeah, we launched a Bredosaurus t-shirt.
It's so cool.
After Sarah's pumpkin carving stream. It is available for a limited time right now. I would love to screen share it with you, but if you just go to ltstore.com right now. Yeah, if you go there, it's the first thing you're going to see, Bredosaurus, excuse me. It's available in 4 different colors, black, gray, eggplant melange, and rust melange. Color things. You know that, like,
He's hurt a little bit.
if you zoom in, you'll be able to.
So it's like. Yeah. I don't know if I want to say that.
On your feet, mate.
That's not how you pronounce it.
No.
Thank you.
Deploy and health drone.
Okay.
Also, we've got our Stealth Sweatpants Pro at just $39.99, the perfect companion for
Just
the
giving
Stealth
my
Hoodie
friends a
Pro.
recharge.
And we are still accepting signups for the magnetic cable management notification. Once those are available, you gotta go to lttstore.com/pages/magnetic-cable-management 3. Why that 3 is on there, I couldn't possibly tell you. But I'm sure there's a reason. Oh, also, we sent out a newsletter this week. You can see it on the store blog page, I think it's called. No, newsletter, where do you find it? Oh yeah,
Don't
under
they come
info.
a week later?
They will.
Oh.
This one's going out at the
Go on,
same
watch
time,
out.
but in the future they're going to be a week or 2 delayed going up in the archive, so the way to get them as quickly as possible is going to be by actually subscribing to the newsletter, where we'll also have videos and stuff like that. But this one's called Frickin' Lasers, and is all about the super, super cool SLS 3D printers that we've equipped our Creator Warehouse engineering team with, and some of the amazing prototyping stuff that they've been doing with these. They are so cool. Going through the newsletter, they took a bunch of pictures and stuff. Kyle worked really hard on this, putting together a whole bunch of information about SLS 3D printing, showing you guys some of the early versions of the stubby screwdriver that they were able to create with it, because it's dimensionally accurate and doesn't shrink and all this neat stuff. But what's the coolest thing about it for me, that really blew me away about it, was that you don't need any supports. So you just have like powder, and it scrapes a layer of powder over top, and then it uses a laser to harden it, and then the whole platform moves, and it scrapes a new layer of powder over top and hardens it. So at the end, you're left with a part that is encased in powder. So I know that SLS 3D printers can be a little bit hazardous. We followed protocol. It's okay. But we took the kids to work and did a little like field trip, you know, learn how to use the 3D printer.
That's
and
cool.
Print anything you want, because they always ask me to 3D print stuff they find, and I'm always like, Daddy's basic Ultimaker 2 can't print that. Sorry. It's a circular conversation. They'll be like, okay, what about this one? Daddy's Ultimaker 2 can't print that. Sorry.
Are they like giant prints or something? Because Ultimaker's pretty good.
Well, it's more the issue that they would require so much scaffolding that I do not want to clean up.
Yeah, that's fair.
That I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But with SLS,
Calling in a
because
lifeline
it's just
package.
encased in this in this dust.
Which you can
right?
brush away and reuse.
Which you can brush away and use a lot of it. You can print anything you want, and it's just automatically supported. So we printed them, and then we did the whole like excavate them, which was way more time consuming than I expected. Part of it was that my kids picked ridiculously complex models. There's one that's called like a skeleton dragon or something like that. If you look it up on
Sounds
Thingiverse.
sick.
Yeah, it's super cool, but like,
Yeah. That's almost archaeology at that point.
Yeah, so that was really fun. Anyway, you guys can learn more about it and see how the team is using it in the newsletter archive.
Very cool.
All right, what do you want to talk about next? I think it's time for us to do another topic.
We're not talking about the backpack? Are we saving
No,
that?
I think we've talked about enough merch. I don't want the people to get tired of hearing about merch. But
All right,
that
sounds
backpack is
good.
super cool.
Let's talk about the finals. I played it last night.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's the deal here? It's another team shooter. Do we really need another one of those? But it has announcers.
Yeah.
And they're like, blah, 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 this happened, blah, 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 blah. Except the announcers are AI.
Yeah. And to be completely
let's talk
honest,
about that.
the people that I was playing with last night and none of us knew they were AI. And all of us were making fun of how bad they were the whole time.
So
and when I
you're
read this
saying
doc, I was like, oh.
it's a feature, not a bug.
Sorry?
Because it's funny.
Sorry?
So you're saying it's a feature, not a bug because it's funny.
I don't know if it was good funny. We were mocking the game. The game itself was fun. I will put that out there. And like, do we need another? I like their take on it actually.
Okay, tell me about it.
It's 3v3v3 or 3v3v3 v3. So it's either 3 teams or 4 teams.
Oh wow, okay.
Of 3, and it's very objective based.
So it's PUBG then, but with much
very
smaller
objective
maps.
based, and there's no like looting.
Oh,
You pick your loadout before the game, and that's what you have.
So
when
I
you
might
die,
actually be able to enjoy it then, because I don't have to figure out exactly which micromanaged bullet fits in exactly which stupid gun that has some unintelligible model name.
Yeah, there's no Tarkov in here. You have your main loadout, and then you have like a reserve loadout that you can switch to when you're dead during a game. So if you're like, oh man, I chose a sniper and this is a very indoors map where that would be very bad, you can switch, but you only have the 2 options. So there isn't a lot of switching. You can't pick up other people's stuff, etc. So you kind of have to somewhat.
Really, you can't even loot other people's like just gun.
Nope.
Wow.
You have infinite
surprised.
magazines.
Oh, so
There's no
unlimited ammo.
looting. Sorry?
Unlimited ammo.
Yeah, but you do have to reload.
Yeah, no, I.
So
I
magazine
get it.
capacity is fixed, but you have unlimited magazines, and like your utilities and stuff, they
the word is
recharge.
clip.
Sorry?
The word is clip. How to trigger gun people in less than a quarter of a second.
It could be, but not in this situation. It is magazines. But they're like if you have grenades, or an RPG, or a fortification wall, or whatever, all of those things just recharge. So there's no looting. You never technically run out. You might just be on a cooldown or need to reload. One of the two. And yeah, it was actually kind of fun. I enjoyed it because of how objective based it was.
Right, yeah. Instead of just being just kill the guy. It's essentially deathmatch. Deathmatch is
so
the
boring.
most boring of multiplayer modes.
We ran into a team that was the hardest team. We won every single game that we played, except for the very last one. I think it was past time to go to bed, to be completely honest. I think that's why.
Wow.
But
you ever an excuse-making gamer? By the way,
we won
now that we're
every
back to
other
sitting
game.
right next to each other, you see how he's drifting out of the frame again? He's back to his old habits.
Am I doing
We
it?
have a monitor right there. Just look at it.
But I have to look at you. So it's... Fine, I will talk to Linus
sorry,
like this.
Sorry you have to suffer. What a jerk.
Okay, the team that finally beat us, they had one player who was just healing.
Listen up. The ring's moving and we're on the wrong
Out of
side of it.
3.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So like, I had never seen a single team play that way so far.
Right.
We had someone on our team who had like the option to heal, but most of the time would fight, and then if there was like a break in the fighting, they would quickly try to heal people up, whatever. This person was full-on combat healing. They were not shooting at all. They were just supporting their team, and it was really hard to beat them, which is interesting to me because supports are good
Yeah.
in a shooter game.
Yeah.
That's not that common. It happens.
Yeah, Team
Overwatch.
Fortress 2.
Yeah, but it's not that common. So it's actually kind of interesting.
Back
and yeah,
to
it was
the
fun.
AI voices, though. If you guys, I will admit that in the trailer for the game, I didn't find them obnoxious. They seemed fun. But when I listened to just some gameplay of the game, it became far more obvious that there were intonation issues or slight pronunciation quirks that made it seem generated. It kind of reminded me. I think the closest thing I can think of is it reminded me of the commentary of NHL 2004.
Yeah.
Like an old, like in the early days of sports games having commentators when the quality was high, but the variety was very low. And in the case of the finals, or the finals. In the case of the finals, the variety is very high, which is actually enabled, according to the developer, by their use of AI. Which can really, really quickly iterate on the copy of the analysis.
Come get your fill.
But the quality is low, so it's jarring. And that's what I was trying to get at. That distracting vibe. Now, I gotta tell you, if I haven't actually played this, so I was just watching people's gameplay, and what I tried to do was put myself in a mindset where I am playing, instead of watching a video and listening for it. I suspect I'd probably get used to it a bit.
Yeah, honestly, the like quality wasn't really what stood out to me. It was that the lines were really bad.
Okay, so then that's on the game developer.
Yeah, so like, okay, they can rapidly iterate because of this. Well,
Rings close.
I had a very good time in the game. Maybe they need to continue rapidly iterating with this. I don't know. I also find it interesting that like they're AI voice actors, but like the team names are randomly distributed from a pre-selected list of team names that is really short.
Yeah, that was a funny thing to me too. Like I kind of thought that would be a justification for an AI announcer, is if you were allowed to.
That gets super sketchy.
Which would obviously cause problems.
They actually, that's something I'll say right now, is they need to improve their word filtering already.
Oh, really?
We saw multiple people with usernames that were like not cool. Like at all. Because they would like, oh, I'm going to take the first letter of this word and swap it with the first letter of this other word. Yeah. So, yeah, instead of hate, it's going to be Nate.
Like Hut Bull.
Sure. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like okay, they have AI voice actors, so you think you could have like, I don't know, 100 different team names, because whatever.
Think that.
The Kingfishers was in like every single game we played.
Oh, okay.
I'll keep the eye
And it's not like a super unique team name either. You think like, oh, they only have team names that like fit the lore of this universe, whatever. No, there was the Big Splash, the Kingfishers. It's like super generic sounding team names. So you think, okay, now just have a list of 300 of them, and then it feels fairly unique every game.
Yeah.
But no. Not at all.
Now.
So it doesn't. To me, it doesn't like really feel like they're fully taking advantage of what they should gain from it.
Honestly, makes sense. I mean, we're so early days here that like, maybe conceivably, this is a placeholder. I mean, they haven't stopped using human voice actors altogether. Yeah. In fact, they've been very clear that they aren't trying to replace voice actors. Their text-to-speech is all about saving costs and allowing them to respond quickly to new ideas. They say they use traditional recordings for scenes where actors chemistry is important, but for these contextual in-game action callouts, they just wanted to use their AI commentators in order to achieve the aforementioned quickness and cost savings. The cost savings one is kind of quiet part out loud to me. Yeah. Obviously. If I was trying to put together a PR message for why I'm using AI text-to-speech instead of a proper...
I'm happy they're being transparent. I know where you're going with it, but
Yeah, I probably wouldn't mention that.
yeah.
I'd talk about, I'd talk about how it enables us to have 300 different teams and dynamically mix and match them and blah, 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 blah. Which apparently they haven't done.
They didn't do that
I
part.
think a big
You
part
go
of
off
this
the
is
map
that
if you go too
it's
high.
very early days
Yeah.
for this kind of in-game integration.
10 seconds, the
and
ring's just
there's
ahead.
no way around that
I will
right now.
say it worked, like, kind of surprisingly
Hello,
well.
does my audio
Head that
work?
way, eh?
Right, just the...
Game felt pretty smooth. Gunplay felt pretty good. They have like cosmetic systems, obviously, because I think it's supposed to be a free game.
Listen up, the ring's moving.
All that stuff worked fine. The bling system seemed
Are
fine.
you going to go back to it?
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Month?
Yeah.
6
Head
months?
that way, eh? What do you say
Maybe.
we regroup there?
Depends what else comes out.
Pretty
There's so
much.
much going on right now.
Yeah. And it's like,
And you've got other games to play.
what yeah.
How's Final Fantasy VI going?
Final Fantasy VI has been going really good.
Yeah, okay.
It's actually been going really good. I'm happy that you did, I have to commend you, sir.
Do you trust me now?
You did a good. No, yeah. I would have trusted you before. I just never played any really fun, except for 8. Anyways, you did a good job.
I do.
Because I was talking about part of the story being sad that I wasn't going to be able to do it anymore.
Yes.
And I
kept
could
my
do it.
darn
And you did great, because I didn't read that at all. I didn't, like, get that from you at all. And then I go back to that thing, and I'm able to do it now. I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool. Because I couldn't figure it out. Because can you even do it early?
There's a purple shield over there.
Okay, yeah. Because I was like, I feel so dumb. I can't figure this out. And then it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of cool.
No, he's just a weird old man who wants to
He
decide
left.
the first time you see him. And then he's like a resistance leader later. That's what Final Fantasy VI is. A friggin'
45
30-year-old game at this point. Not
Yeah.
gonna worry too much about spoilers here.
So I'm at well, I think that was a spoiler for me, but I'm at
Go to my drop.
Oh, really? Wait, what?
yeah, I just gave him some cider and he was like,
Evo
I
shield
forgot
here.
what the
Level
password
3.
is, and then you have to do it like twice because you don't know what the password is, and you finally figure out that it's courage.
They've taken fire.
I think so.
Just
no,
give him my
that's
shields
it.
a recharge.
No, he doesn't end up being a resistance leader, as far as I'm in.
Oh, wait. No, then I'm not.
Oh.
I just mean he helps you rejoin the resistance.
Yeah,
He's a facilitator.
he's just
I'm a
happy
little...
you gave him alcohol, and he's like, oh, I'll go in the tunnel, whatever.
Maybe the translation's changed. It seems to me like the... I don't know. But I could also just not remember.
I think that's somewhat true. He just came off like a drink. But I might have read too much.
So where are you up to now?
I finished all of the like 3
They're hurt bad.
campaigns.
Nice. That's a really cool segment. of
That
the
is a
game.
very cool. I really like how they did that.
Yeah, it's
Actually.
split the party, and then you have these like 3 parallel
Just giving my
adventures.
shields a recharge.
Yeah, you have like the super long one.
Yes. And then you're like, oh
I
wow,
thought-
do I have to do 3 of these?
I did that with so I was like, whoa, this is a long game. And then the next 2 were like super short. Especially Locks. Locks was like
Recharging my
incredible.
shields.
Really?
Yeah. But good. Interesting gameplay. Kind of hilarious when you steal the first person's phone. Yeah. And it changes their unit name to birthday suit. Yeah, so we're all
Joining the fight.
Big up to
Narshi, I can't.
That-
I don't know. It's one of, it's a, it's
Alright,
a
took
game
him
where
out, but I'm
everybody has
dead.
Closing in
Yeah.
So everyone kind of grew up with their own headcanon for how, like okay, the Doma Knight. How do you pronounce
Recharging
his
my
name?
shields.
crap, which I know I can picture exactly what he looks like, but I'm not remembering his name right now.
Starts with a C.
Yeah.
That's his Y.
I want to look it up.
Seriously? I've already given
Oh,
you
is
two of
it
the 4
Cyr or
letters.
whatever? C-Y-R-E?
Oh, did they change his name?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
okay. Well, his name was C-Y-A-N.
Oh, I just do Cyan.
Yeah, okay. Apparently that's what it was. He was always silent in my head. Apparently it's Kai. I don't know. That's,
Sure
that's,
he is.
that's like...
They're all hurt back here. Hit this guy. Hit this guy.
Okay.
And
but yeah, we're in Narsh or Narshy or whatever. The whole gang's back together, and the town just got under attack. And the king and the leader of Narsh have that debate back and forth where they're like, you're trying to ask us to spill our blood, and he's like, it's gonna happen anyway. All that kind of stuff. It's pretty good speech.
10 out of 10.
That just ended. Town is under attack. My whole crew is lined up, and I think I'm picking battle parties. And then I was like, all right,
yep. Okay.
But yeah,
tough fight.
That's where I'm at. It felt like I was leading into something big.
You were.
And I was like, I don't have time for this right now. And I feel like this is something that I want to do in one sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finally started my side.
I saw you
Good. I launched it. And played for about 3.5 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. It's...
Where are you at?
I am at the point where I have found the energy source, and that is supposed to power their Death Star, and I need to get the information, the intel that I have gotten from the dead commander, who I found their body in between 2 floors of a building or whatever, and he has a special time-stopping watch or time-shifting watch.
How long have you had that?
The time-shifting watch? Long enough that I don't have it anymore.
Oh,
Fuck is this?
that part's really fun.
That part is super cool, and I was like, I realize that this is a gimmick because I am way too overpowered right now, and they cannot leave me with this. Basically, you shift between
2 different timelines.
being in, no.
Oh, it's the past and the
Yes,
yeah.
you shift between the present when this base is destroyed and decayed beyond all recognition, and the past when the Marine or the Major who was investigating it and trying to get intel in the base was investigating it. So in a way, you actually kind of take his place in the past, which I suspect will play out in the plot later in some way. So you kind of take on his role investigating this place. You get some audio logs from him and stuff, and you find out what he found, and then continue his mission. But what you can do is with a middle click, you can switch between the place being overrun and there being organic monsters and stuff, and the place being heavily guarded by this faction that you are trying to oppose. Where there's a lot of mechs and mecha suits and just kind of Phantom Menace battle droids and also armored human soldiers. And what's neat is everyone's position in those 2 realities stays consistent. So you could clear out all of the monsters in the decayed present time version, and then
have a safe
hop
spot
into the past, see that something bad is there, hop into the present, go around to the back, hop back into the past, give them a wedgie, and then hop back into the present, reposition, and you have a cloaking device in the game. And
I'm told to small talk in awkward moments.
Uses the same mouse binding,
So,
but it
do you
only
like small
lasts
things?
for 4 seconds or something. It's a really short cloak if you're only experienced with
Enough
cloaking,
land and arrive. We drop
play
it.
Crisis because you haven't played video games because you had kids and started to become idiot. So it's a really, really short cloak. It's like desperation tactic cloak. Use it all the time. Long cooldown as well. So replacing that with I can duck into a safe dimension and then pop out at will, and you'll basically still be exactly where you were, and I can just auto shot it, get rid of you. Really fun. Probably.
Master.
I don't know.
It's 2 hours.
I don't know.
Enemies
Is it
drop
horizontal
down
spread?
I just pick up whatever gun I find. And then I
Enough.
just fire
Enemies drop
I
down
like the
near.
gun.
Yeah, I don't really worry about it.
We're all
Yeah,
inside this
I
ring.
don't,
Go and
dude,
check it.
My brain
Got
is
some
full
materials
of
for
tech
us.
part numbers. I don't have time. I don't have room for gun
Check
part
it.
numbers.
Got some materials for
Fair
us.
enough.
Really fun. I think the last time I can remember having this much fun with a game gimmick.
I'm very happy to hear
was
that.
First Fear.
Yeah, and like my whole review of Titanfall 2 single player campaign was this is the best single player shooter in a long time. Maybe not forever. It's been too long since I've like originally experienced some of the like legendary shooters. But it's very likely one of, if not the best.
I have to confess, I've never played a Call of Duty. I know some of them are supposed to be really excellent.
Some of them are actually quite good.
The first Modern Warfare is supposed to be really good.
First Modern Warfare campaign is quite good, but I don't think personally it doesn't beat Titanfall 2.
Ain't no way I'm going
But
to that.
I did really like that campaign.
They have the advantage
We'll try to
of having this
craft you.
futuristic setting that allows them to have things like mech gimmicks.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, time travel, time shift.
But I don't care about the advantages.
thing I'm
I
Like,
inside.
actually find the mech combat the least satisfying part of it.
yep.
It's
When I
kinda
would play
boring.
online, you would like earn a mech by doing things. I think you had to like gain more score, and you could get a thing for it where it would just like pilot itself basically just inefficiently. And I would just do that all the time and stay on foot.
Yeah, because the operator or the whatever they're called, I can't remember what
Pilot.
they're pilots. Because the pilots have this really cool, like, I never played Mirror's Edge, but I watched videos of it. So it has a very Mirror's Edge looking kind of parkour element
And
to
the
it. with
skill
walls running.
ceiling on that is insane.
Oh, I'm terrible at it, but I can see how people
Crazy.
could basically be unhittable with it.
You know that that tutorial run they make you do?
Yeah,
People do it in like, if I remember correctly, it's like 14 seconds or something.
that's incredible.
Like it's
Got some materials
nuts.
here.
There's online gameplay of people that use, there's a sniper called a Kraber, which is a one-shot sniper. And they have like grappling hooks and they use sliding and they just like are shooting people while they're flying through the air and they just keep their momentum like for most of the match. And are just like it's
So you
It's
can
nuts.
wall run, you can sprint, crouch, slide, you can... I don't think I have a grappling hook yet. Anyway,
I don't know, I know it's in
You can-
multiplayer, I don't even know if it's in the game.
you can double jump, and doing these things together can help gain momentum. It's almost like sanctioned bunny hopping, in a way.
It's encouraged bunny hopping.
Yeah, so the more you do it, the more you are faster and difficulter to hit.
Elijah's saying grapple is multiplayer only.
Okay, there you go. That explains why I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for me, I just stay running and I just like kind of mash spacebar and crouch
Don't worry, I got the
occasionally.
squad mates
And
back.
I'm already hard enough to
Don't
hit for
worry,
just
I
like
got the
AI
squad mates back.
but I died very little other than when I screw up the parkour and I fall to my death. So
Honestly, when I played it, I beat it in like one fairly long session, but one day. And then I think it was like 2 days later or something, I cranked it to the highest difficulty and beat it again because it did feel a little bit too easy. Which is not even something I usually like care about in games. I used to play Call of Duty where my brother and I would go pick up the new Call of Duty, come home, play the campaigns, and play online afterwards. And something that I would do is that first time that I played the campaign, I would play it on like relatively easy. And just try to like do weird things and try to break the game in different ways and stuff like that. And then later on, I would go through
You're
and play
welcome.
the campaign again on a much higher difficulty.
Optics here.
But I just did it like fairly back to back with Titanfall because it was so much fun. But yeah, I'm happy you're enjoying it. That's
yeah,
cool.
no, I'm definitely enjoying it so far. I've got another game topic for you guys, but let's get through our sponsors first here. Dan, are you ready? Oh,
While he preps, something that I like about Titanfall is like that time shifting watch and other things that happen. There's one that's
Thermite grenade here.
very fun that you haven't experienced yet.
Got
I think the time shifting one's my favorite, but there's one that's really cool that's coming up. But they don't leave it with you for too long.
yeah.
It
didn't
never
get to
gets
overstay
tired.
its welcome.
Yeah. It's a relatively short campaign, but I don't know that I would like it more if it was longer.
Got it.
I just like, they give you something, you're still having a great time, and they take it away and they introduce something else. So you never like, there's nothing, you're never like, oh, okay.
So it's like It Takes Two, except without the boring story. Did you play It Takes Two?
No, I
forget.
never actually did.
Really?
You've like,
So you're basically a bad boyfriend.
I've offered to play it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Emma didn't want to play it?
It's like more interested in hanging out with the birds and playing with them, which is fair.
Okay. She might actually enjoy it.
I want to play Baldur's Gate with her at some point.
Yeah,
She's just been very busy.
Accessibility of Baldur's Gate is pretty low. Yvonne is like down, but like
Let's put some defense here.
I have to admit I have found some elements of playing it with her a little frustrating. As a seasoned RPG player, even if I don't really do D&D games, you know, I will enter a town and do a sweep, talk to everyone, and figure out, okay, what's the point of me being here? And
Are you guys alive?
she
Hello?
just
Replicator on its way.
looks at town and then maybe like talks to a person,
Scrappy
but
DP
like we
says,
skipped 3
"Hello."
people, and how are we supposed to have any idea what the crap is going on here? What are you doing? I
I enjoy playing games like Baldur's Gate with a range of people because I find it very interesting to watch how different people want to play the game. So like I played Baldur's Gate with Wendell.
It's gonna take us 800 hours to get through the campaign the way she plays.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say that much.
Yeah, yeah. I played the campaign with Wendell, and he, I don't remember the Dark Urge. Do you know that character?
Yeah.
He picked that one because he just like wanted a wizard. But the Dark Urge wants to like kill people all the time. But that's not really Wendell. So Wendell's like constantly fighting against his own character, which was actually very entertaining to play with. Joe, on the other hand, we barely played Baldur's Gate, but we played Divinity Original Sin 2, which is another game made by them.
Yeah.
Where like the choices of things are very much in your hands. By the time we moved to Act 2, everything, friendly, not friendly, didn't matter. Everything in Act 1 was dead. The whole world, everything. I don't remember what happened, but like, I think we like accidentally blew up a barrel or something in town, and we were just like, well, time to commit. And like, we played Baldur's Gate, and you you meet one of the characters that like could join your party, and I think they probably join most people's parties, but they're like, I'll just say rude to you off the start,
Dick. Yeah.
and then they just got obliterated because Joe was like, nope. So it's very fun because you'll run into people that are like, no, I need to like collect all the party members and accommodate everybody and make sure I have the best team to like min-max or whatever. You'll have other people that are just
Everyone gets along.
more into the
They're all banging.
game, that are more into the the combat and just want to fight anything, and then yeah, I don't know. It's the range of gameplay styles is very interesting.
All right, why don't we get into our sponsors? First up is The Ridge. Is your wallet jammed with money like this? That looks awful. You might need a change from it. Oh, I get it. So it's time to ditch that bulky wallet with our sponsor, The Ridge. The Ridge has redefined the traditional wallet with their compact and stylish designs, allowing them to hold up to 12 cards plus room for cash with either a money clip or an elastic band. And their RFID blocking technology can prevent thieves from stealing your personal information, and they even offer a lifetime warranty. You can test drive a Ridge wallet for 45 days, and if you don't like it, you can send it back for a full refund. With over 50,000 satisfied customers and over 30 colors and styles to choose from, Ridge has something for you, so your wallet can be jammed with money in style. Head over to the link in the description to save 10% and get free shipping using code WAN at checkout. The show is also brought to you by Thorum. Is the onion ring the best ring you've ever had? Yeah, it's a dentist spot. Oh, good. Don't worry. Thorum, our sponsor, has something better. They hand make wedding bands and rings from unique materials like whiskey barrel, antler, Damascus steel, World War II rifle stocks, and even meteorites. Their site offers paper ring sizers so you can measure your partner's finger while they sleep, and every ring ships within 1 business day and comes with a free Thorum silicone activity band and a beautiful wooden ring box. Are you struggling to find a good time to propose? How about during the WAN show? Just kidding, that has actually happened before. Thorum just launched their slick, handcrafted watches, so you don't miss out on any good times. That is quite the tie-in. Like their rings, their watches are made with materials like...
No, that's going to the stream.
Oh crap. I will decline that call.
I was just trying to message you that we should close Teams on that computer because everyone's getting the notifications.
I am on WAN show. Just
Evo shield
D&D is
here.
enough.
Level
Dan,
3.
I'll pilot you.
Pick that shield up, John. Go, John.
Seriously,
You can keep
guys?
talking. I'll just motion.
This is ridiculous. Their watches are made with materials like 4 billion-year-old
Target spotted.
meteorite and Hawaiian koa wood. Plus, they're automatic watches, no batteries required ever. With over 10 years of experience and over 5,000 happy customers, Thorum is sure to have a nice ring for you. So go check them out in the description and get 20% off today with code WAN. Okay, hold on. We're just going to find out what Ed wants, and then we'll do our third sponsor spot. Sound good, Dan?
Down there. Lucky me.
No, we may want to move from the center then.
Hi, I'm on WAN right now. What can I do for you? There is more footage. Would you like Dan to ingest it now? Okay, I will help him do that. One moment, please. No, you're good, you're good. We have an emergency video. I got it. We have an emergency video that needs to be edited, and
We're inside the ring.
good. And Dan is going to help Ed get the footage for it, but he needs my help to help Ed. Luke is going to do a sponsor spot.
Okay.
AG1.
Let me know when you're ready. When life moves fast, even your nutrition needs to catch up in the race. You're good? Our sponsor, AG1, is here to help. AG1 is a convenient supplemental drink to help fill in some of those nutritional blind spots, which means sometimes certain vitamins are being neglected from your diet. AG1 sports 75 different vitamins and antioxidants, with their ingredients being sourced from whole foods. It's also made without artificial flavors or sweeteners. Some members of the LMG staff even used AG1 before our partnership. Luke included. I'm going to read it exactly how it's written. And while it can't make you... Wow. Nope, I'm not going to read it exactly how it's written.
And while it can't make you as tall and handsome,
Was that Dennis? Thanks. It can help if you've been neglecting certain nutrients in your diet. Plus, it's keto, vegan, and paleo friendly. If you're looking for a simpler investment for your health, try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Just go to drinkag1.com/WANshow. That's drinkag1.com/WANshow and check it out.
tracking user behavior and using that to target ads.
That's
That was the last
actually
one in the
wild.
squad.
That is
45
basically
seconds, rings
how
close.
The
Could use
internet.
some ammo.
yes,
It's how the internet.
advertising on the internet works these days.
Yeah.
So that ban was placed on Meta by Norway in August, and
Rings
now
here with
covers
30
the
on the clock.
entire
Let's move.
European economic area. Meta did not comply with the Norway ban and has been subject to daily fines of $80,000 since. Meta could now be fined up to 4% of its global turnover under the new rule, and it claims it is in the process of
10
complying.
seconds, the ring's
The ban
just
will come
ahead.
into effect in a week after the Irish data regulator finishes evaluating Meta's proposed consent-based approach to processing
Here's your
user
birthday
data.
present. Might
Earlier
be
this
something
week,
good
Meta
this
launched
way.
its paid, ad-free subscription for Facebook and Instagram in the European Union for €10 a month
Laser
via
sight
desktop, or
Level 3.
€13 via
Let's
Android
explore
or
this way.
iOS to account for their 30% take, presumably. The subscription is not available elsewhere and is only available to users above 18, so teenage
clown
users
that
in
away.
the EU will stop seeing ads entirely. How is the EU so cool, and how do we get some
Hostile
of that
over
over here?
So based. Yeah, I don't know.
Knuckle cluster
Actually
around.
based. I'm pretty sure that's the correct way to use that.
Yeah, that's really sick. I don't really know what else to even say. This is just awesome. I guess this is what happens when a huge amount of countries band together and get some stuff done.
Dbrand just sent me a text message. I'm not going to provide any additional context for this because, you know, whatever, something might happen at some point or something, I don't know. But to the robot from Dbrand who just texted me, I got you. It's a screen capture of them typing
enemy
what
over
the
there.
fudge is a die
Rings
shrink,
nearby,
but
1
with
minute
much
tech close.
harder language. I don't have a sound bite.
Shoot him.
I will explain. A die shrink is taking an otherwise sort of similar design, okay, so like a CPU,
Reloading.
and then pretty much manufacturing what is basically that same CPU with smaller transistors, presumably for some kind of performance and or efficiency advantage.
Ring will be closing in
So
30. 58
rather than design an entirely new chip on a new architecture, you're taking something that's already kind of a known quantity and you're just shrinking it. So you're not going to expect any kind of revolutionary difference in performance, but you might see a bonus in terms of cooler operation or lower power consumption. There, that's all I have to say about that. The bread source is gone?
What?
Wait, what? There was a bread source here? Oh, for crying out loud. Okay, thanks, Stan. That's, we're really glad we have you here to,
Deploying knuckle cluster.
This is really hard to watch, honestly. I love that I'm using the background
Keep
for a
peeking,
change, though.
please.
Yeah.
It was very time-consuming doing all of this. I never stream.
And then in
stream even
traditional
less
WAN
now.
fashion, you can't see like a bunch of it.
Yeah, right? No, so normally it's for streaming. It's IGN.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it'd be a whole thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, discussion. I don't have a lot to say about this other than that's super cool. I think people are going to balk at the idea of paying for the internet rather than giving away their personal information for the internet. But if this is the start of a new trend, it can only be
Personally,
a positive thing.
I love it
Juicing me shields.
because I don't know, a lot of the things that you would use paying for are things that you like fairly objectively for most people. Not everyone. Most people should probably use less
Change will do
anyway.
you good if you live through
Just
it.
saying.
Got him.
So I don't know.
Speaking of using, Microsoft is not going to be getting to use advanced consoles. They're underneath. On November 12th, Microsoft will roll out its system-level drive Xbox because they can compromise accessories will work with Xbox One and Series S and X consoles. However, at the time, the company is reportedly a third-party approval program for wireless controllers, which could mean that Microsoft is primarily targeting products like then that allow customers to use the same controllers by spoofing
Listen up, you ankle
Xbox.
biters. The last ring's closing in.
This is all very interesting. It's pretty obvious that's what they're after. But what was really standout about this was when I was looking at the different articles.
I've heard that is insane because you gain a lot of the benefits of being on a mouse and keyboard, but then you have like auto aim. So it's incredibly overpowered. So, I don't know.
Rats, I can't find the link that that I think I sent to the news team when I suggested this topic, but it had it had this kind of constellation of all the Xbox partners, and one of them was this doll that you can buy.
What?
Oh yeah, here it is.
What?
It's called an American Girl. It's apparently a lineup of dolls. And it's an Xbox gaming set from the Xbox One X era that I just wasn't familiar with. Okay, this is not the gaming accessory set. No, there's a whole kit where you can get the doll too, and it like, oh man, I can't find it anymore.
I
seriously
found it.
Excuse me. Anyway.
This?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's the product page.
So it's called American Girl plus Xbox Gaming Set.
This made my brain hurt.
I don't even...
It actually comes with a toy pamphlet for Game Pass.
What is it?
Like, seriously? It's a doll. It's an 18-inch doll that just sits in a gamer chair wearing gamer headphones.
Oh, so it doesn't actually have anything to do...
Oh, no, the one I was looking at is the older one. This is a Series X. Yeah, this is the new one. He's got the new one.
What?
It doesn't do anything. It
You just have, like, candy, fake candy.
Yeah.
Fake Game Pass.
Fake fidget spinner. Speaking of profiling,
Fidget spinner. Wow.
what are you saying about my sensory?
What's up with this? The controller with the screen on it?
I don't know what that is. I mean, maybe they designed this when they were really pushing Project X Cloud.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
Interesting.
it's this guy. We already talked about the merch stuff. I
What
swear
up,
to you,
dude?
we talked about the merch. We talked about it. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at sales.
And we haven't talked about all of it. We haven't talked about the backpack. And the backpack is super. There's stuff on the floor?
Oh yeah, we haven't done that backpack topic yet. What do you mean there's stuff on the floor?
What?
What are you even talking about? What merch?
What floor stuff?
You can't hide from your mistakes.
On your right. Yeah, other side. I think we did. I think we just didn't have the floor prop.
Oh yeah, we didn't have the pants. These are the pants. I really think with the mic setup today, we're not going to be able to do
Here,
this.
do you want me to stand behind you in Vanna White?
Sure, yeah. Basically, they go with the Stealth Pro hoodies. These are the Stealth Sweatpants Pro. They're sweatpants. They're really comfortable. And unlike most of our sweatpants, they don't have the French cherry interior. So if you are not into that feeling, then they are going to be better for you. They've got pockets with zippers, because we love that. Thanks, Luke. You're doing a great job back there. This is ridiculous. I don't know, man. Everything is ridiculous today. I just want to play video games, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I know that look. You want revenge.
That was.
Not a dragon worth
Have we talked
chasing.
about the executive order for
Wait,
Santa?
I want you to get those fangs
Someone
out of
asked
the
me if I've watched
floorboard.
this. I worked today.
Dumbass.
I've not watched it.
Ooh, extreme stress test for the LTT backpack.
No one gives a
Yeah,
crap
this
who's
is super
better.
cool. I want to show
All they
this.
care about
Yeah,
is
we
who's the
can.
best.
So I will
Oh.
link it in chat. There you go, guys. Click the link yourselves.
User
Don't you hate those?
Frasher, I hope
I
I'm
would-
saying that right,
Get
11,
ready, moving
has
out.
reported that his LTT backpack has survived an entire year of extremely heavy use at his job in an underground mine as a maintenance tech. He's also added a picture of a previous $50 backpack that lasted 5 months under the same conditions. From his experience, Frasher 11 estimates that 1 year of his usage is equivalent to 3 years of heavy outdoor use.
And if you look at pictures of this bag,
I believe him.
I believe him.
Yeah. Despite regularly carrying over 25 pounds, survived remarkably well, and the way the shoulder straps are secured lends to its strength and durability. You can see that in the pictures, actually. Sadly, the
alone?
zippers have recently started to slightly
minute, ring's not
unzip
far.
sometimes.
Yep, I think
he
we're,
tends,
I don't think
he
we're
finds
good.
its bright orange interior is also very
Damn, a
nice.
mic!
With the new
The
zipper
poles won't make a
pulls,
What was
difference.
that?
A
with the new zipper
microphone.
pulls, he could carabiner them closed.
Oh, that's true, actually. But I mean, it's
45
more
seconds,
that
rings close.
they're coming apart sometimes on the other side. They're YKK zippers, but nothing is perfect. They are the
Oh,
best
that
zippers
side,
you
got
can
it.
get.
Yeah, yeah.
Your mileage may vary. I was really disappointed when I saw one of the pictures with the shoulder strap all torn apart.
Yeah,
and
then I realized it's not ours.
that was his other bag. That's what it looked like after 5 months. We are looking sick by comparison. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
was really happy with that.
Yeah, it's actually like patinaed in a really cool
Hemlock
way.
here.
I'm just saying, it like
Oh,
looks
it-
kind of
Car
sick.
SMG
It
here.
looks like
Flat
it's
line
been
here.
through hell,
Yeah,
but is still
but
holding
made
up,
it.
which
Yeah,
is like perfect.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
This is really cool. Chewy, our community manager, saw this and was like, yo, dog, it would be really interesting if we could get our hands on that and see if there's anything that we could
Rings
learn
coming in.
from what a backpack that gets used heavier than any of us could ever possibly hope to looks like, and, you know, where are the failure points? Here's a new bag. If you could just send us back your old one. So we apparently sent him a new bag.
Sweet.
Even though his is working fine, just so we can kind of study it.
Yeah, no, that's
see
cool.
Where we can reinforce it.
That's awesome.
I need it.
LT2.2
Take that.
Picked up some
Apple
materials.
announced
You want
the M3 lineup. Geekbench results have leaked, and the Snapdragon X Elite looks pretty good. That's
That's
our
not
topic here.
surprising at this point. They've actually been doing a great job. The M series
Heads
MacBooks
up.
have been crazy.
Care package coming in.
So like, that's cool.
You know what else is really interesting though is the Snapdragon X Elite. So that's Qualcomm's ARM on Windows processor is within striking distance of the M3 MacBook Pro for single bench in Geekbench, or single core performance in Geekbench, and actually between an M3 Pro and an M3 Max.
But
in
slightly better
multi-core
in single core,
performance.
isn't it?
No, it's right there. It's like right on par.
What am I doing wrong? Yeah. 2979. Oh, I was looking at M3 Max
Yeah,
MacBook Pro.
yeah, so it's right on par with the M3 for single-threaded, and then it's right in line with for multi-threading. Am I excited about ARM on Windows?
It's weird, right?
Is that even possible, Luke?
It's weird, right?
I know, I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah.
In summary, you guys can watch our coverage of the event. Well, what? I got games to play, Luke. I can't sit around here all day.
Honestly, the second you said that, I was like, I know why you said that.
Exactly.
Because this would be pretty long, but...
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about here, and the news team did a great job of compiling all of this for us.
What
Really
the fuck?
appreciate
I'm not
that. Point
Lifeline?
is,
What is this?
ARM on Windows. Is it finally coming true after 12 long years, or whenever the Surface RT launched?
Are you going to be super sad?
Portal's ready.
No, dude, I hate
Am
that.
I going to be sad?
Yeah.
Switch. And you're not used to it.
You think
If
they're going
it's
to be
not leg day
replaceable
because
chips?
it's ARM? Like, where are you going
You think
with
they're
this?
going to be replaceable chips?
Oh, no, they're not going to be. Well, yeah, but they already weren't in laptops.
Yeah, but they're going to come to desktop.
Yeah, AIOs first, but yes, you're right.
Yeah.
But then a lot of AIOs are already using laptop chips.
Yeah, but they're gonna, my whole point is about desktop. Now you're going to get chips soldered to boards. Then RAM's coming next.
Oh man, I'm about to get myself canceled again.
Barrel stabilizer here.
Cancelled.
Hemlock here.
I don't
Shield
even know
cell
what
here.
to be afraid of right now.
I am less opposed to CPUs soldered to boards than I probably was in the
Because
past.
the whole dream of upgrading the processor and keeping the whole motherboard never happens. Is that why?
I think my experience with Threadripper
I'm good to go.
kind of killed it.
Everyone I know enjoys when people can be pissed. Everyone I know when they're speccing out a computer enjoys being like, this is a new motherboard generation, so it's gonna last like 3 more, so I can upgrade the CPU. And then the next time I talk to them, which is the next, this sometimes does actually happen, but then the next time I talk to them when they're building a new computer, they're replacing the motherboard anyways.
Yes. Now, with that said, the secondary market is something that we can't lose track of here. It's really important to be able to pull the CPUs out of, like, you know, Lenovo ThinkStations and, you know, repurpose them for cheap gaming boxes in China or whatever. We have a really cool video coming on a gaming PC we bought for like $300 on Taobao that is kind of awesome. That won't be possible anymore, and that is terrible.
Also, motherboard failure rates are, I hazard to say high, because honestly, they're not. It's just relative to a lot of other components in a computer, especially CPUs. They're really high. I wouldn't say, honestly, failure rate of anything in a PC these days is actually high. I'm not trying to dog on motherboards in general, just like CPUs basically never die, and motherboards die fairly often. So you can get CPUs from like 15 years ago that are rock solid still. And usually you just have to keep swapping out the motherboard so often.
I can
But
hear you. Oh wait, I can't hear you. I'm not fucking Lifeline. What the fuck is this?
yeah,
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, traffic is
See
incoming.
if I CC'd you.
I stole her.
I wonder where all my stuff ended up.
So Louis Rossmann.
Give me
Yeah.
Our title for the topic is
Rossmann
Rossmann
selling.
on strike. Not quite that.
Involuntarily.
Louis Rossmann received 3 community strikes on YouTube, apparently for discussing and advocating for Futo's GrayJ, an app that allows users to consolidate content from multiple video hosting services in one place, and potentially make it easier for users to discover and interact with content outside of the YouTube and Twitch ecosystems, particularly their recommendation algorithms. We messaged him about the situation because most of what I found about it was from third parties, and he says that the strikes may have been given because he mentioned GrayJ having a working download button. I don't know. I don't know why that would result in a community strike.
45 seconds.
And
Rings
I'm
close.
not privy to exactly what was said to him in any correspondence with YouTube. It should be clarified that a community strike is not the same as a regular strike where it's like 3 strikes and your channel is gone. It's more just, hey, you need to adhere to these guidelines, by the way. It is also possible that they objected to GreyJ having a built-in ad blocker, which is against YouTube's terms of service and something that they have been cracking down on recently.
I
According to
expected that was going to be it when the announcement happened, before this actually went down. So that's still where I'm going to be leaving.
Why
personally.
can't?
According to
boys
Lewis Rossman, his YouTube account is on
Or
90-day
tunnel.
probation, but has not
Switching to
been
drone view.
banned.
Listen up, the
Now,
ring's
I
moving.
CC'd you on my exchange with
Yeah.
Lewis about GreyJ, and one of the things that he asked about is if we would be interested in allowing Floatplane to have a plugin for GreyJ so people could watch Floatplane videos through the app, provided that they had an active subscription. See, that's something to clarify, is that even though GreyJ does strip out the monetization of a
Checking out of my
platform like
drone.
YouTube,
I'm good to
it
go.
doesn't for a platform like a Patreon or a Floatplane.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, asking you this live in front of over 10,000 people. But
Uh-oh.
would we consider that? I told him, look, from the Linus Media Group side of things, I have kind of mixed feelings about something like GreyJ. Why? Like they've said that they're working on a system where creators can opt out of having their YouTube channel available on GreyJ, and honestly, I'm 50-50. I might opt out. Why exactly
Follow the tunnel.
am I going to make my catalog available willingly on a platform where I won't be compensated for it? And I know that there's like tipping, like you can pay one time or something to GreyJ, and I think there's a sharing system in place or whatever else.
Portal's ready.
I'm sorry. If that
Phoenix
worked,
kit here.
we would have a very different internet today. That's just not. I'll take a wait and see on that one.
Yeah,
If it works great, then awesome. I'd be happy to be wrong, but I really doubt it. Strong doubt.
If you leave it entirely
Backpack here.
voluntary,
Level 2.
most people will entirely volunteer to contribute nothing. I don't
And
know. I
then-
saw the
but
email.
Enemy
I
over
told
there.
him on the
Got
Floatplane
him.
side of things, I leave that to Luke and our new CEO to figure out. Obviously, probably haven't talked about this yet.
So
Round 3.
that's where we're at. I
Ring
was going to say this is
countdown.
going to be a
Go there.
cop out, but I haven't touched
Reloading.
Karen yet.
Come and get your back.
That's, yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, that seems like mostly a business decision. Floatplane has features you wouldn't be able to access through
Delivered.
GreyJ. I'm sure this is true for YouTube and other platforms as well. But if people really want the consolidation, I could understand that.
I mean, the idea
Maybe there's a benefit
is
there.
sound. I can understand
The
why,
consolidation is really cool.
why users might like it. You know, the
Yeah.
idea of following a creator
planted over there.
rather than following an algorithmic, suggestion.
Got an
for
Evo
what
shield
someone
here.
else thinks
Level
you might
3.
want,
Where you
or
at?
whatever else the case may
Knocked
be.
off my drone.
I can definitely see some appeal there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not completely against it, but I haven't dove into it fully yet. I need to talk to Taryn about it, etc., etc., etc.
Ring kill leader
Less than 30
appointed.
seconds. Rings nearby.
you're downstairs. Play games.
Yeah, it's like actually bad form. Is he here?
Yeah, he's here.
No more headaches?
I don't know. I haven't asked.
Oh,
But we have signage by the stairs
don't fall.
to maintain 3 points of contact. Don't run. Don't jump.
Actually?
We actually have like more safe PC, like how to walk up and down stairs signage.
Wow.
Hostile right here.
It's not because of any individual employee.
Wow.
Setting a
They're on you,
portal.
man.
I'm legally obligated to say that.
You're near the enemy.
Ring closing.
We're gone.
Shield. I'm taking shots.
23andMe takes cash selling user data. What a surprise!
No.
Yeah, they're extending their collaboration agreement with GSK plc, a multinational pharmaceutical company, in exchange for $20 million. The agreement was first signed in 2018 and will be extended for at least an additional year, allowing
Go over
GSK
this
to
bit,
merge
too.
anonymized DNA data from roughly 80% of 23andMe's 14 million gene testing
you
customers
don't
that
need
have
to
agreed
stick
to
Charging my
merge
shields.
information for research purposes. The only data sets that rival 23andMe's library belong to Ancestry.com and the Chinese government.
Patching myself up.
This partnership has
Where's that
reported-
quote from?
I don't.
What?
Probably
They
one of
put
our
it in
sources
quotes,
here.
but like,
Punching a tunnel.
I'm looking it up.
This partnership has reportedly contributed to the discovery of over 50 new drug targets, i.e.
I set the portal.
drug could potentially bind to, and the new agreement is non-exclusive, so 23andMe can license its database to other drug dealers. What a big surprise. For our last topic,
Opening
the
fire.
end of Warframe.
Reloading.
Do you remember that game we played one time?
Need to recharge.
Terrible. Really cool concept. It's kind of like a Warcraft 3 graphics, you know, bird's eye view strategy game, but it's 3-player co-op. So you all work together to build the same base and
Healing
defend
up.
it against
Eyes are
like,
open, though.
hordes of enemies or something.
Yeah.
Theoretically,
Not too
I mean,
far.
we never really
45
got that
left.
far because we couldn't figure out how the crap to play it because the tutorials were kind of useless. Their servers are going offline
kill that guy?
in 27 days. But it's this note on the Steam page that
That was the last one.
and I was
Nice
like,
work.
oh yeah, Dwarfheim. I wonder what's going on with that. And it was just serendipity.
Didn't know shit, that was the
We're
guy
a
that came
month
off
from the
the,
servers going offline, and they just posted
respawn.
this, I don't know, a few days ago, I think. Hey everyone, we have some news to share on the future of Dwarfheim. Sometime
here,
after
now.
1.0, the developers dissolved,
I
which
actually
means
thought you'd
we have
jump
no source code
tower, but I
and no
couldn't
means
roll
to
the other day.
continue to update the game.
Deathbox
In
here.
the meanwhile, we have been maintaining servers to enable players to continue
Medkit
playing the
here.
game.
Shield cell here.
Unfortunately, it is no longer feasible to continue to maintain servers, so we will be removing
Rings
Dwarfheim from
coming
sale
in.
as soon as Valve is able to make this change to prevent any further sales, and then Dwarfheim server support will end on the 30th of November 2023. Due to the way that Dwarfheim was built, it is not possible to play the game without servers, and without the development team or the source code, there's no way we can patch in off.
Let's explore this way.
Thank you to everyone who supported Dwarfheim. Bridge Games.
What?
This is the future of gaming,
It also sounds like that.
and we've allowed this to happen.
What is this book series that we're propped up on? Series of unfortunate events or something?
To be clear, I don't think this game was ever really going to go anywhere. It was super buggy. The concept was really cool. There was like an underground where like an overworld where you could work on base building or scouting or whatever else. There was stuff for all 3 players to do. It was kind of a mess. But that's not the point.
Need to recharge
The
my
point
shields.
is that it's completely lost, and so will be every game that is reliant
1
on
minute.
online
Ring's pretty
servers that are
close.
maintained by companies who are not forced, not legislated into ensuring that service will remain either available or in a form
Ring's
where
not
it
too
can
far.
be
45 left.
maintained on an ongoing basis by an active
Care package
community
over
or
there.
another developer.
Yeah, I mean, you can currently purchase stuff for Dwarfheim right now. So,
We're close
Nope.
to the ring. 30 seconds left.
No, so there's a
Phasing.
problem.
Champion made a poor choice.
Okay, it's time for WAN Show After Dark.
yeah, it's still for. Well,
Oh.
is the supporter
I need
pass?
mouse back, Dan. Got him. Wait, no,
Punching
I
a
did it
tunnel.
on my phone. No, I think I can do it on my phone.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to do
Placed.
WAN Show After Dark. No, I got this. There. See, it's WAN Show After Dark. Oh, well, I mean, you can do that.
1 second. We got this.
Let's do some rich messages, shall we? We're really not going to be able to do more today.
I'm gonna work on potentials.
Lisa wants to know how your birds are doing.
Phoenix kit.
Birds are doing good. Said bye to them before I left.
Recharging my shields.
You're such a nerd.
Usually I hang out with them like all weekend, because I mean I have no friends. So if I'm not working out or working, I'm at home
Or leaning out of the frame.
or doing that. So I said goodbye to birds because I won't see them until Sunday.
Watch yourself. There's another squad
People are
attacking.
wondering where the wing is. In there.
Recharging my shields.
That was very smooth. Someone's been getting some practice in.
This one ball.
And you did it with one hand. I told you.
No, I can't.
That's the way to do it.
Didn't you
Yes.
smell me coming? I was upwind and I
spoiler,
smelled you.
it sucks.
Figure out calling.
Sort of. There was a Reddit thing, I haven't gone through it yet. That's honestly not the biggest problem with it.
Oh.
Like, even so often I have to click it like 3 times to get it to wait. My fingerprint sensor just randomly stopped working. You can see it's working now. I have changed nothing. It just worked just there. But then
How
sometimes
do you know that I ignored you?
it's just 4 fingers. No matter which one I do, it won't do it. And then other times.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Bump you.
And I got that on camera. David happened to be here filming something else.
I'm at my house.
Make sure you ingest this to the LG Wing video folder. It's it's a buggy.
Laura Bellino?
Android Auto. I spent probably half an hour.
What is your last name now?
Manually connecting to Wi-Fi, manually Bluetooth, connected USB.
Bellino!
Blah blah blah. Wouldn't work. I rebooted my car, rebooted my phone.
I'm watching a show and I'm playing video games.
And then I was just like driving home, and I had it plugged in.
Yeah, and
so
I'm
that it would
stoned.
charge.
Yes.
And like the proper message popped up all of a sudden, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And I
Why?
got it, and now
What's
it works.
up?
And it's like, I am so frustrated by this thing. It sucks.
Got him.
Richard,
I'm
asks,
not. What the
could you
fuck?
smart lads tell me, why is it that we can't run 2 Thunderbolt connections in parallel to get more PCIe lanes? Also, bring me magnetic cable management. If I had to guess, I'd
called
say
the
it comes down
cops?
to the PCIe switch chips. They would just be expensive on either side.
I don't know, because
That
it's
would be my
like
best
usually
guess,
calling
but
the cops
not
is the last
being an
resort.
electronics engineer who specializes in this sort of thing, I don't know the exact answers. You do have to bear in mind that USB 4/Thunderbolt is not quite just raw PCIe. There's some other stuff in there to make it much more hot plug friendly. So you can't just
Is there
more lanes.
is there like a doll or a toy in the car somewhere?
Frank got technically married in an LTT shirt a bit ago.
Yes.
Comfiest wedding
Yeah.
I've ever had. Linus, being ADHD, do you feel like you do your best thinking while driving or exercising? I do my best thinking at the times when I am most trying to do something else. I am the most distractible person I know, but often that energy leads to new ideas. I'll be in the middle of a conversation and be like, okay, sorry, hold that thought. Can you hold that thought? No disrespect, man. I need to write this down. Yes.
If you've known him for a long time, he skips most of those steps and just writes it down.
Maybe it was like someone's Halloween decoration that was.
Anonymous asks, Linus, you often consider wife approval factor in your house videos. What can you do without her approval? I mean,
Well, yeah,
if I
but
wanna
you
get
record
laid,
your
nothing.
voice and then record it to a Halloween decoration
Well,
and send like trigger.
People don't ask questions on WAN show for dishonest answers.
Okay, bye.
That's the truth.
But there's situations of like implied approval.
Fuck off.
And look. Okay, guys.
When you've been with someone for a super long time, you kind of know what
It's
they're
not
doing,
actually about that. It's about maintaining a harmonious relationship.
which results
It's
in
about mutual respect.
which results.
Yes, exactly. And that is not my motivation for things. That is a result of having a harmonious relationship.
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life, right? Like they say that and it's true, and it goes the other way as well. Like
We've got a
are
job to
both
do, so
constantly
shift your
working
car.
to
Did you know
make
that
each other
humans are
happy.
the only animal that can
The
blush?
chances of each other
But what's
being
the point?
happy is better, and the
Yeah.
chances of each other being happy is better. It's a positive feedback loop. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I can do pretty much whatever I want.
I'm
without her
always
approval.
dressed to kill.
But I don't, because anytime we make a decision, we should make a decision.
Yeah.
Whether I could on my own or not. There are exceptions. I did not check with her about this land. She was not impressed.
I heard she was surprised at how many people it was.
Yes.
You
That's
get
what
too
Brandon
close to a live wire, and you pay the price.
Stock them up.
Quick question for Big D.
I'm the jump
Oh,
master.
that's Dan.
Follow me.
Are the dad hats V2? Wait, what? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
Time for Christmas.
I'm not sure.
Replicator
I
there.
don't know what that has to do with Dan.
This might be a
Agreed.
good place to land.
No, they're not. They're not ready yet. I don't even know if they're in mass production yet. Zachary asks, Luke, what would you think about requiring software engineers to be licensed like other engineers? I already know the answer to that. He's not gonna. No. He's
Get
very
ready,
like
moving on.
self-education is education.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe if you're doing like very specific thing, yeah, not really. pretty much any form of license that you would have would expire almost immediately. If you want to dig into this, look into how NASA does software design. And maybe if it was something around that, where it wasn't a license on like, I know how to write code in React. If it was more like I understand how to design things that like cannot possibly fail. And then you end up working on, like, maybe you need that license in order to work on things that are within the cannot possibly fail realm. Maybe, I don't know. But that seems like a pretty small time license that is honestly just going to annoy a bunch of software engineers with renewal fees. So maybe we just shouldn't go down that path.
So here's something.
45 seconds
I
to
was
go.
pulling up this spreadsheet of sales on LTTstore.com, and I was like, you know what? This is actually kind of useful, being able to see more horizontally. And then I went to scroll it, and I was like, well,
I don't know if you should show that screen.
that's fine. I might as well just be holding my phone in landscape, because from here, I can't do that.
It would be cool if you could scroll it that way.
Maybe there's a way to do that. Maybe there's a way to...
Extended sniper mag
No.
here.
Okay.
Level
Well,
2.
Neat.
No,
I
I
was
complete. Sorry.
I was just going to comment on that. I think Bread has officially reached
Enemy here.
a ridiculous point.
Bread?
Yeah.
You just said bread?
300 people bought Bread
I
Stores
found
t-shirts.
this something extra.
I don't really understand.
I'm gonna get one.
Some material. Listen up.
Yeah.
Don't ask.
I love the design. I actually really like it.
The design is super cool.
Yeah. And someone's like, what is that? You're like, it's a dinosaur and bread.
Recharging my shield.
Just give my shit.
Hey, you're from Florida. Are there any new products that you can spoon? Holiday gifts that you can spoon?
I'm down. I have eyes on the enemy.
I don't know what else is coming. Nick does know, and he is here. I think he's probably gaming.
Enemy shields broke. Enemy down.
Any more designs of onesies for the time being, Brendan? Sorry, I'm going through these pretty quick now. DLL, I was wondering if you had any plans to make a new WAN intro.
Enemy right here. I spied enemy here.
I was like, hey, you've been doing forever. Oh yeah, I'll whip one up. And then that was like 2 years ago, and then we haven't touched it again since. They actually don't take that long.
It happens every time.
Yeah, it's just a low priority. The idea was that we were going to do them like every week.
Yeah.
Yo, Linus, have you heard of BAR? Asks Gavin. Beyond all
Let's get you
reason.
back on your feet, Capatid.
No.
I've heard of it now.
Oh, okay, so it's a game.
RTS game.
Oh, interesting. The epic scale RTS experience you've been waiting for.
What the heck? It looks like Subcom.
I knew about Sanctuary Shattered Sun, but I did not know about this. So there are now two? Seriously? There are two Supreme Commander spiritual successors going on right now? This sounds awesome.
Read the FAQ for the Subcom comment. Where's the FAQ?
I found it. Okay, good.
Information.
Oh, I don't see anything.
How
Oh,
does
how
BAR
does it compare
compare
to
to
Supreme
Subcom?
Commander? There are quite a lot of similarities due to them both being inspired by Total Annihilation. BAR is much closer to TA though. Handle more things with less or no lag. Subcom has larger maps. Some of the biggest maps in Subcom though are honestly too big. Okay, they think it's the sweet spot. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. BAR has only 2 factions with 195 units per faction. Good gravy.
Whoa.
So it's more like chess-like.
So we were-
almost, like easy to come up with strats, hard to master all the different strats. You know what I mean? Easy to learn, hard to master. That's what I mean. I don't mean it's anything else. It's another way like chess.
I
Just relax.
I heard you say 195 units. It's like chess, and I was
Just
like,
relax.
what are you talking
Actually chill. You're so mad. Higher quality maps, big experimental units that are smaller but less costly, so there's a
It's
better
time to
chance that
impress.
you'll actually see them in game. This looks cool.
about? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super cool. All right.
Everything is going to be great. At least
Sweet.
that's what I keep telling myself.
Play. It's out.
Oh,
Download and play
Underestimate me and pay the
for
price.
free.
oh, it's playtesting. It's alpha.
It's Alpha Plus.
All right, I'm down. I mean, we happen to be doing a gaming thing right now.
Oh, so it just straight up might not be playable. They're just admitting that it is genuinely an alpha, not like a fake alpha that some people release.
That's fine.
Which is cool. Yeah, that's cool. No issue with that at all. But just know what you're getting into. It might not run perfectly.
Steve M asks, do either of you know what
Just a thought, we could land here.
Jack from NCIX? No, actually, I haven't been in touch. See, I thought you meant Jack
already know.
executive.
I'm going to kill you today.
Oddly specific.
Oh!
I've been in touch with him. No, it means... See, I always knew Jack
sheer
from
terror
the
that comes with
channel
dying.
as Jackie.
I
Because he
remember
went
it
by
well.
Jackie back when he worked inventory management.
Oh, this is the best
store,
part.
When I met him. So when he kind of switched to going by Jack, it was really confusing because by that time, mine and Taryn's boss was a different Jack.
Yeah.
And so I could never figure out who anyone was talking about. I have a whole thing in my life where I get extremely bothered by people who have the same name. Where I could, easily be talking about either of them. So, for example, we have like 4 people named Nicholas at work. I refuse to refer to any of them as Nick other than the first one. It's a seniority system. So Nick Light is Nick.
Yeah.
And then Nicholas
Listen up,
Callanan
the
is
closing in 1
Callanan.
minute.
Nicholas Plouffe, Plouffe. I think we have at least another one that is.
We do.
Sorry? Oh yeah, Harris. Oh man. You know what? I call him Nick from Labs. I actually don't call him Harris.
I
45 seconds.
have usually referred to
Labs
his
Nick.
name in text, or we have stand-ups every Monday and Thursday, and there I just call him Nick. But I think that's because I know Nick Light isn't there. But when you refer to him in text, his spelling of Nick is different.
Here. Level 2.
It's nice.
And
30
people are asking about
seconds,
Nicky
rings
B. Yeah, I would almost always say Nick Van Berkel.
Yeah. Or I would call him Burkle all the time.
Oh yeah, Burkle. Right, I forgot about that too. No, I definitely called him that too.
Yeah.
No, that's probably more right. I think I remembered wrong.
Most people call them Burkle.
Yep. Nathan asks, would PCs today be better if OS 2 with Windows 3.1 on top of it won the war with MS-DOS? I don't know. Sorry, I don't think I can even dig into that. Alicia asks, I've seen some channels show a progress bar or specific graphic during ad reads, and that your channels do not. In your experience, are sponsors aware of this, and do they pay more to have it not done? Not that I'm aware of. Our sponsor spot implementation is not designed to optimize ad revenue. If it was, they'd be longer and they'd be loaded more heavily toward the front, the beginning of videos. We do ours our way because we think it's really easy to skip, because the first one is basically 2 right arrows, and the last one is after almost all of the content has already been on into the microphone, and we will just have like little things at the end sometimes, so you can just skip it. So for that reason, I don't really think it's necessary for us to do that. I see why some people do it. I have no idea how sponsors react to it though. Jeffrey asks, is there an update on the new TV? Super excited to hear what you have to say about it. Ooh, the 115-inch one? I don't know. Nick is here, but probably gaming, so I can't really bother him. No idea. See you later. Andrew asks, what are you going to be playing tonight? Left 4 Dead 2. Halo CE for sure. Not a video game, but super checks. And then I think I'm just down to play whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I might want to play some Worms.
Sometimes you just gotta kind of go with the flow it lands.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing some Mario Kart on the projector. We got the projector screen up.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Yep.
How many people are you going to get to buy Anno 1800 on the deal today? There's a deal. How much is it? It's a good game. Save 75% on Steam.
Whoa.
$15? That is nothing
15
for a
bucks?
game this good.
Little, man.
15 US, 20 Canadian.
Yeah.
Just do it, you coward. Sorry, Dan, I stole your line.
I'm just gonna buy it right now.
It's such a good
Are
game.
you actually?
Do you enjoy like city builders?
Yeah.
It's all about trade. It's like setting
I'm
up trade
genuinely
routes.
surprised you've not played this.
I played the future one.
Oh,
That one was
27,
not-
whatever.
That was absolutely bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the worst one apparently.
Great.
Yeah, I played that one for I think it was like 4 minutes, and then never looked back. Yeah.
Robert asks, when the
Garbage.
LAN center opens, will we be able to rent or borrow PCs there?
good with
I
me.
prefer not to travel with my massive PC. I think the first ones
Probably
will
not.
almost certainly be BYOC.
Yeah.
I could see us conceivably having like a rental program of some sort in the future, but
Some amount of them.
yeah,
Definitely not at the beginning.
I don't want to make any promises.
It would have to be a rental program that we're going to use a very small amount of times a year
Yeah,
that is somehow worth us doing.
yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
I work with some tech illiterate people, says Nathan. How can I market my tech skills when it seems like some see theirs as optional? I'm usually the one person that people ask to fix their computers. Man, I don't know.
I work with some tech illiterate people. How can I market my tech skills?
I think I think I know what you're asking, and I think the easiest way to get people interested in it is to try to show them when you're doing stuff for them, because that makes it real world applicable. Richard asks, greetings from Bonaire. Luke, ever been diving here?
No.
Sounds good though.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Ryder, I'm not that into electric motorcycles. I don't consider myself a petrol head, but I just can't do it. Oh, this isn't in the doc this week, but I want to talk about this. Okay, did I predict on WAN show, or was I just talking to people internally, that we were going to get electric cars that emulated the experience of driving a manual transmission vehicle? Well, Toyota did it, and Ars Technica drove it, and it's apparently frickin' awesome.
Oh, no way.
I am so excited for this. I know it's stupid. I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
It's basically a video game. I get it. It's an electric car, but he stalled it.
No way.
Yeah, it has like and it, you know, engine noises that sound like really realistic through the speakers. Yeah, no, 100%, man. Like the Toyota guy who developed, they've got like interviews with him, and he's like, yeah, like I don't like driving battery cars. I think they suck, but like this one's better. And he like designed it to feel exactly like driving a stick shift.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Interesting.
It's so dumb, and I love it. Because you don't have to. You can just hit a button and just drive it as an electric car. If you're just like, man, you know what would feel good? Just like, you drive your electric car like that. Let's go.
Reloading.
Oh
That's
man,
so
people
funny.
are split like right down the middle on it.
Yeah.
They either think it's amazing or they're super angry.
Why would they be super angry?
Oh, because it's not real.
Then don't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex Clark does not like it.
Oh.
I think part of it is that he's just salty that he was wrong.
Oh.
Because I told him that this was going to happen. He's like, no, that'd be stupid. There'd be no reason to do that. No
I'm
one's
not
gonna
surprised
do
it
that.
happened at all.
And he's right. It's stupid. There is no reason, logical reason to do it. But it happened.
That doesn't drive markets.
Carlos, yes, there will be a video or product page breakdown for the cable management stuff coming out.
Got some materials here.
I think it's time to call it.
All right.
We'll see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. I know it's a short WAN show, guys, but we got some gaming to do.
Yeah.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.
Crafting over here.
Let's explore this way.
Marking our surroundings. Charging on my shields.
Okay, done with WAN show.
We got another squad attacking us.
Look, I'm getting shot at.
One sec. Healing up. Recharging shield.
Target spotted.
Open supply bin over there.
Broken enemy's shield. I crafted an anti shield. Reloading. Taking a moment to recharge my shields.
Bogey in sight.
That. Let's explore that way.
Marking our surroundings.
Crafting over here. My mother would love hearing me say that.
Crafting. I will not be long.
The fuck is my fucking... What is this fucking... What is this cursor on my screen? What is that, dude? Look at that. What the fuck? I've never seen such a thing.
Listen up, I'm calling a
The
lifeline
fuck
package
is
in.
that? Come on, bro. What the fuck?
Got materials.
Sorry.
Recharging my shields.
Level 3. Backpack here. Level 2. Evo shield here. Level 3.
I guess it's time to go. Need heals? Where you at, XFAM?
Health drone if you need. Health drone here. Come get your fill.
I guess these teams gonna be waiting for us on this side, huh?
Alert 5, Valkyrie actual. Ready for burn. How copy? Last call for liftoff.
This is what you do? What the fuck?
This aircraft has several emergency exits, accompanied by choppy waters, molten lava, or internal bleeding.
What are you doing?
Taking fire. Recharging my shields.
Marking our surroundings. Recharge that way. Let's go.
Looky here, got a bandit. Let's go here.
There's someone.
Next ring's not close.
Bogey out there.
Just giving my shields a recharge.
Might be something good this way.
Health drone if you need it.
Bogey there. Cracked a bogey's shield. Reloading. Throwing thermite. We got another squad attacking us.
Marking our surroundings.
Charging up my shields.
That's way. Let's go.
A minute till ring close and we've still got a ways to go.
Listen up, I'm getting shot at. Well done. Using a Phoenix kit.
45 seconds. Cracked. Under fire. Reload. /1. Yeah. Charging up my shields.
Just giving my shields a recharge.
Reloading. Opening fire.
I'm out of heavy ammo.
Recharging shields.
Recharging my shields.
Hold up. Healing.
Reload. Calling in a lifeline package. Just giving my shields a recharge.
Taking fire.
I don't have any ammo.
Home. Reloading.
Listen up, the ring's moving.
Reloading. Under hostile on Scotty. I'm out of light ammo.
Hold up. Healing. Care package coming down.
Delivering care package.
I've only got a handgun.
Healing.
Taking a moment to recharge my shields.
Deploying an evac tower. Hold up. Healing. Care package there.
Help run if you need.
I bathe in them closer.
One sec.
Train to
Healing up.
Scotty. Let us catch them unaware.
Can use some help here.
Target spotted.
10-4.
I'm out of heavy ammo. I'm taking fire. Taking a moment to heal.
You know it just us. We got to watch each other's back.
Taking a moment to heal.
Next ring's not close.
Blessings upon us. A replicator descends. Battling broken. I'm out of heavy ammo.
Listen up. The ring be closing in 1 minute.
Reloading. The ring is close. Careful, new kill leader. All Father, give me sight. Healing my wounds.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 2.
They're taking a moment to recharge my shields.
Rings around the corner. 10 left. Half the squad's left. An enemy landed here. Watch yourself.
Use the map as your guide. The link is moving.
Come and get your birthday present.
We should continue there.
I'm spotted. Taking fire.
Enemy.
Pass me that sugar.
Here at TechLink, we like to think that there's an infinite number of intros that we can come up with, but actually, there's not. YouTube's ad block has led to hundreds of thousands of ad block uninstalls, proving once again there is nothing as powerful as the Uno reverse.
Gets down anything.
Well, I don't know why the Avengers didn't use that on day one.
No, I didn't collide with your car. Yours hit mine.
According to stats from ad blocking company and name for the history of spirits, Ghostery, 90% of users who gave a reason for uninstalling their ad blocker cited YouTube's recent policy change. But Google's hatred for ad blockers makes the fact that they sponsored last month's Ad Filtering Dev Summit, a conference for ad block developers, quite confusing. They even gave a presentation, the sickos, about how Chrome's Manifest v3 update wouldn't hamper ad blockers, right before expanding the ad blocking they started in May and leading to a record number of ad block uninstalls. To be fair, that record was closely followed by a record number of new ad blocker installs as people searched for one that YouTube couldn't detect, but overall the number of ad block users decreased. So why would Google co-sponsor the very thing they wish to destroy? Maybe they wanted to befriend their enemy, earn their trust, and wait for them to turn their back so they can plunge in the knife. Or maybe they care more about you using their browser. They may not care about your personal privacy, but hey, they're just acting like protective parents. If you're going to experiment with illicit extension, I'd rather you did it here in Chrome.
And not at that strange Firefox's house.
AMD has swapped some Zen 4 cores for smaller, more efficient Zen 4C cores in 2 new entry-level laptop APUs, claiming that no human being would ever know the difference, which is both wrong and honestly pretty insulting to AMD's core customer demographic, pedantic nerds. You can't put it past us!
Actually, you're more of a Team LaRue.
The Zen 4C cores are meant to be feature identical to Zen 4 while having a smaller footprint, previously being used in their EPYC server chips to cram unreasonable number of cores onto a single processor. AMD also used Zen 4C cores in the lower-end Ryzen Z1 variant of the ROG Ally handheld, but AMD didn't advertise that right away, either because they're testing if people can tell the difference, or they're just ashamed about how much worse the cheaper Ally is than its extreme older brother. Some people are drawing comparisons to the P-core/E-core hybrid structure Intel has been using since their 12th gen chips, but it's not quite the same. I mean, just look at the size difference between P and E cores versus the difference between the 4 and 4C. AMD's 4C is like a Zen 4 core that got great results on a keto diet, while Intel's P core could probably eat an E core and still complain about the small portion size. Early benchmark results for Apple's M3 series of chips suggest Tim Cook wasn't pulling performance numbers out of his Apple at Monday's Scary Fast event. The Californian Fruit Corporation claimed the M3 chip was 20% faster than the M2, and that seems to be in line with the plethora of new leaked Geekbench scores. Of course, there's a new ARM-based kit on the block as well in the form of Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite series. While Qualcomm pitted their new little shredders against the M2 in Geekbench, since Apple hadn't unveiled the M3 yet, both the Orion 23-watt and 80-watt chips still outperform the M3 in multi-core scores, although the M3 spanks them in single core a little bit. No big welts, just some weddings. Look, sounds like a good weekend. As for the M3 Max, it performs comparably to the M2 Ultra, which is good news, but might sound confusing if you still foolishly thought that the Max chip is Apple's top-tier chip rather than the Ultra. That's obvious. Geekbench shows the Max scoring nearly 21,000 in multi-core, nearly double the standard M3. Meanwhile, the M3 Pro is apparently suffering from some kind of performance anxiety because it didn't show up in these leaks at all. It's okay, buddy. We know you're going to do great in a special spot between the M3 and the M3 Max, if that's where you go in the action. Are you an iPhone? Now it's time for Quick Pick, brought to you by GL iNet and their Barrel AX Wi-Fi 6 travel router. It's cute, portable, high highly functional, and unlike the Chihuahua, it won't get scared and start leaking around strangers. Plus, it comes with OpenVPN and ad guard, so you can secure your browsing anywhere you are, and it runs on OpenWRT, an open source project supported by many devices. Check out the links below and the coupon code down there to GLINet yourself a nice limited time discount. Okay? You wrote it. Our bits have been selectively bred for quickness for over a century. Sadly, this has led to serious health problems and shorter lives.
But darn that being so cute. Sure they need some friends.
Intel has once again released a driver update for its ARC graphics cards with speed boost that would make the Sonic fan art blush. DirectX 11
Were you saying me?
the most benefit. Intel claims average FPS uplift of up to 750%.
Sorry, I'm like hard.
154% in Yakuza 0. Yakuza.
Are you talking about what to your wedding?
In World War Z. But the driver also
saying your wedding?
DirectX 12 title Returnal of 53%.
The what?
Extreme Tech notes that some DX11 titles' performances are being compared to the driver before the most recent one, but I don't want to see up where the clouds are clear, as put so elevated that Canadian country pop sensation Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Digital Foundry's resident wizard. Digital Foundry's resident wizard, Richard Ledbetter, posted a deep dive on NVIDIA's T249 processor heavily expected to power the Nintendo Switch 2. Originally leaked by lovable fan favorite leaker Coke97 Gimme 2 years ago, details have slowly emerged about the chip's specs. Richard used these to guide his modifications of an RTX 2050 to simulate the T249's performance. And based on his mad science and speculation, it could be that the Switch 2 could run any modern game just fine if you adjust settings accordingly and use Again, though, Richard can't say with 100% certain that this is the Switch 2's chip, but
This fucker with the sword,
like,
dude.
are we all two brains in a vat situation? Like,
I didn't even know there was a fucking sword in this
Well,
match.
Like we don't know. But like, ad-free subscribers to streaming service Max, including grandfathered HBO Max legacy subscribers, are set to lose access to 4K and HDR streaming next month. If they'd like to hold on to those features, they'll have to switch to the ultimate ad-free subscription for an additional $4 a month, 25%. Simultaneous streaming for ad-free accounts will also drop from free devices to Max is one of the few streaming services that haven't raised prices last year. They're just, slowly reducing the quality. Yet,
It's pretty fun.
they gotta go. Sam Bankman-Fried, founder of collapsed crypto FTX, has been found guilty of 7 charges of Sam Bankman fraud. He potentially faces decades in jail and is unlikely to be Sam Bankman-Fried. His lawyers claim that it was just a hapless nerd in over his head, and it's difficult to argue that someone is smart enough to run a complex embezzlement and money laundering scheme, yet not smart enough to know running such scheme is illegal. In the end, the court decided that nothing more than Sam Bankman.
Easy going, Sam Bankman-Fried.
And Lenovo is partnering with fashion studios to create a proof-of-concept collection of Lenovo Tab Wear, modern and futuristic outerwear with big old pockets you can carry tablets, or maybe a toddler. So, Brand has created a light-blocking, noise-canceling hoodie. It's in good shape. Hates being reminded of the world outside their jacket. Kit WAN Studios entry is a modular technical. Meanwhile, designed a pastel pink.
I don't know why our team is not getting the left side. The left side is the strongest out of the whole.
And protect yourself from the disappointment of this video editing by coming back on Monday for more tech.
Your enemies have 1 power seed remaining.
I hope this doesn't go south.
Take a try.
Ground vehicle requisition.
Power seed remaining. seed stockpile incoming.
You're like third wheeling so hard
Dude, our team is so dog shit.
Soda, Miz, made a goal, and it's a bunch of straight goals together, but we're playing hardcore. So basically, it's if you die in game, you die in real life. If you die in game, the person is permanently deleted, so the stakes are really high. So, say you're I'm trying to kill Miz, I'm screaming my fucking head off, and everyone thinks it's hilarious because it's so stressful.
Nobody's killing these fucking things. Oh, fucking bad.
There's of course a spot for you, 100%. I mean, so basically, his words, not mine. So you're definitely welcome to join and you're so welcome. I'm actually thinking about it. Well, if you want to play with us, you're very, very welcome. I just learned how to play Twitter fucking hours, but I want to. So, say sodas are. He got boosted by 10 people. We don't care how you get to 60. All that matters is that you get to 60. A lot of people are getting power leveled or boosted. No one really cares. It's fine. Can I get boosted by 20? Oh yes, of course. We actually have a there's a viewer guild called Mainsley that's 1,000 people that just follow her on our account. So I feel like all 1,000 of them just like come to your lair and just so I'm cool. I feel like about it. So yeah, the resources are there if you want to play. You mean 1,000 slaves? No, they're players. I will watch you play and it will convince me. Oh god. Okay. Where's We've lost a teammate.
This dude's fucking bad.
Because it makes the age demographic there so comfortable and at home, I guess. I don't know. I've got that's purple item. Dude, why are you
Yeah, our team is so fucking bad.
I mean, it does make it easier, but you don't need to. Oh wait, there is something that you have to know if you're gonna join this guild. There's an important thing that everyone that joins this guild has to do. Where is it? Okay, first of all, this is Soda's spreadsheet of all of us. Yeah, so what you're going to have to do if you join this, you have to, there's a quiz that we have to, oh no, what do I have to do? Oh my god, so,
5 minutes
you
remaining.
have to take the persona quiz, you have to take the persona quiz. I'm a musculid, which is a parent or father. This is important because it determines your ranking in the guild. Oh my god, this is awful. This is actually really fucking awful. Miss said jump around and Stormwind, show her how sick it is. Okay.
I almost just want to let him win. Get over with this game.
Who's driving?
Wait, look how they know what they're doing.
Yeah, let's play ranked after this. This is I want to do this thing.
Who is driving? What the
Matching outfits too for the guild. Oh my god, no. Look how isn't this so cool? Like, look at all the people that are here. Wow, I'm cringing. Look how, see, isn't this so cool? Like, look at all these people that are here. Wow, I'm cringing.
Lost a teammate.
Oh my god. Oh, guys, what do I do? Wow, back yep. Honestly, playing great. Thank you. This thought was like, if you actually do want to join this message one of us, and you should make you should make a character on the hardcore, the bias killer server. Oh, what's she doing? I did get level 37, 36 off stream. We're close! Oh my god. Oh god. I'm cringing. Everything hurts. You have to RP. No, I'm not an RP. I don't do that. You blew it. Explain this if they're not slaves. What?
Bro, still like you will take it. Bro, still like
Your team just scored.
They're not slaves.
Power seed
They're
stockpile
World of Warcraft
incoming.
viewers that want to support the guild. So did say there's. Only. I was gonna say I might that would just be a fucking lie. But imagine if he actually with us, like that would be so. Stop.
I'll kill my character.
Ready to secure.
Okay, I would literally kill my character. I know her so well he's not gonna play. I wish he would, but he's not going to.
Of course nobody's there, Jesus Christ. Just let them win. Just let them fucking win. I don't even want to play on this team. This team is so fucking shit.
Are you an asshole? No, bro. Leave me alone. You're blocking my screen and you say no, sugar. Make it make sense, my brother.
They're all so fucking bad. Thank God, dude.
Today, NVIDIA's new GPUs have a big bonus. Intel's ARC GPUs got up to a 750% performance upgrade. Great news for NVIDIA GPU owners, and AMD just released their Ryzen Hybrid Core CPU. Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. First up for today, we have some great news regarding NVIDIA's upcoming Super GPUs. I'm calling them Super 2.0. So far, we've learned core count for the upcoming cards, as well as gotten an idea of price and performance. But today, we actually learn about power consumption. And as you can see from the Resident Leaker Cobite 7 Kimi, NVIDIA's upcoming Super cards will have the same power consumption over their non-Super counterparts. So even though we see a boost in performance, actual TPP will remain the same. That is for the 4080 Super and 4070 Ti Super, because he later clarifies that the regular 4070 Super comes at 20 watts more than the regular 4070, and that makes sense given the 4070 Super has the biggest jump in cores over the regular GPU. Still, I definitely like to see that most of the cards aren't getting some big jump in power draw. But if there's something everyone should like, it's learning all about computer science from this video's sponsor, Brilliant, the #1 place I go to learn more about computers, like their new course on LLMs or large language models, the type of AI model that powers all the best chatbots like ChatGPT, Google Bard, and more. They teach you all about it in their new course. If that's not something you're into, they've got courses on pretty much anything you could want, from programming to search engine, PC memory, and everything in between. But the part I love most is that they actually teach you by having you get in there and do it yourself with these fun and engaging puzzles. So no more listening to boring lectures or anything like that, and it makes learning complex topics easier than ever. To top it all off,
My apartment. Somebody rear-ended me today, man.
Free trial when you sign up at
I was supposed to. Somebody rear-ended my
Plus,
truck
when you
today, man.
sign
It
up at
sucks.
brilliant.org/gamermode, you can get 20%
Yeah,
off
it's
the
garbage. I gotta go to the
membership
doctor in the morning to get my shoulder looked at.
Once again, that's
Oh, you feel better?
brilliant.org/gamermelt.
Oh, I will.
Next up today, Intel's
Get that paycheck, boy.
just got a massive
That's good
update
too.
yet
Nothing wrong with that.
again. What's so surprising about this is that
Fuck my
Intel
truck up. I
barely
kind of
seems to
deserve
be
it.
allowing
I was at a
GPU
dead stop. A
parts.
kid, it was a
Even
17-year-old
Mine and other
kid
groups
probably
got
texted
rid
him,
of
man,
the
slammed
graphics
right in the back of my truck.
inventory, as well as our senior
Dang.
director of client strategy graphics and AI, Ryan Shroud. So you think that we're
sucks.
still doomed for Intel's GPU division, but they recently released yet another
Yes,
driver that adds massive performance gains to their
Alright, I gotta
GPU.
place lot.
I'm
Died
talking up to
first.
750%
Dookie
more
butter.
performance in DX11 and up to 53% in DX12. As you can see, it's the Halo Master Chief Collection that saw the massive 750% FPS improvement, but quite a few other games saw big jumps as well. 113% in World War Z, 53%
Yeah, I was so
in
lucky I ran out of bullets in my clip. He was
7% in
dead.
Sniper Elite 3, and the
Underneath.
list goes on.
If you need to
This is
back out, I
obviously
can
great
take.
news for anyone who
Damn.
bought Intel's Spark parts.
Oh, I
making
did
them a
get assist for
potentially
that.
really good buy given their price.
Take that.
Thank you for
more, I
assist.
think.
Still a chance that Intel pulls
Thank you
the
for
rug out
assist,
after
by the
their
way.
battle
Yeah, man.
release,
That's
but
how we do it.
they still seem eager to give out support. And honestly, if Intel
Watch your
does
ambush.
this free product to the market, I can honestly say that it'll be a sad
Who hurt
day.
there?
Sure, they had some hiccups along the way, but it was really
I'm
nice
hurt
to see
like a
more
bitch.
competition move into the market.
My
Time will
pussy
tell if
hurts.
Intel continues to move forward.
I can't say that no more. I get banned on Xbox now. 3 strikes and you're out.
Next
Yeah.
up,
So do that.
I used to be
news
a
from
raid
GPU
Toxin
owners.
in
Bethesda
Halo
has
5,
officially announced
and then ever since.
I love being toxic on Xbox, man. It's part of playing
No, I
Xbox.
almost got banned.
Now, I
Almost.
will say that this isn't too
But
surprising given the backlash
after I
that
got
occurred
Halo
after
Infinite, I
WCCF
said I'll
Tech
be
dropped
cool
their article
and stuff
comparing
like that.
AMD-sponsored games to NVIDIA, showing
And
that
stuff like
most
that.
NVIDIA-sponsored games eventually get FSR, while
Ah,
AMD-sponsored games typically
okay.
don't get DLSS. But as I've said in the past,
What do you
Well-
think
I think
about
it's less
the
to do
ban
with
on
forcing
Evo?
companies to do it, and
Right
more
now.
with the fact that FSR
What did Evo?
both AMD and
Ban it.
NVIDIA. I mean, think about it.
What is that?
You have to include support
The
for
gun we're
FSR
using
to be
now.
sponsored by AMD. So if
Oh,
you
I
are
think it's
doing
ass.
FSR,
They need to keep the
there's
BR.
no
They need to keep
incentive
Halo,
to
and quit trying to fucking
because
change it. It's
FSR
stupid.
already supports NVIDIA
True.
GPUs.
They're feel
Trying
like
to-
the gun now.
Trying to
Trying
reinvent the wheel,
better,
man.
so
The
that's
fucking
why
wheel
it makes
works.
sense for
Let it
NVIDIA
work.
Yeah.
owners to want
Stupid.
it, but looking better,
Yeah.
see where
And
the
I
difference
think
as it does
if
have
this gun
support.
feel
Not
like
to
just
mention the
like
fact
Reach,
that FSR is
just as
That's all it is.
support. Either way,
You're
the
right.
update is coming, and according to the
That's all it is.
announcement,
That's all it is a
DLSS
better
only coming to
DMR.
PC users
It's a
and
faster
FSR
DMR.
3
Still a
support is
5-shot.
coming
Still
in
the
a
same
future update.
speed as
So
a
good
4-shot
news
on a
for
BR,
pretty much
but the burst is
everyone
better
here.
because you can do the
And
you can
lastly,
spray left and right if you're
just
panicking and
announced
still get a
the
headshot with one of your bursts. It's just,
hybrid core.
I don't know.
And they're seriously
More friendly.
In fact, AMD announced a ton of new details on their Zen
You think of
4C
Master Chief, you
efficiency
think of the
core,
battle
so
rifle
shed some
every
light
time.
on the new technology. As you can see, AMD makes some pretty major claims when comparing their
I got
hybrid
a good droid
butt
out of
cheeks,
it.
man.
For starters, Zen 4 and Zen 4C both use the same instruction
You're looking
set
at now,
unlike
grenades.
Intel. So they have the same IPC.
Good camping right there.
What is going on right now?
It's coming. He's right in front of you, Leon.
That's cores during operation, leading to potential points of where the CPU doesn't
Thank
perform
you.
as well. So Zen 4C does have some pretty nice positives going for it when compared to Intel. Though of course, Intel's efficiency cores are quite a bit smaller. When it comes to
I know,
performance,
but
you can see the CPU in Zen 4C
few shots on
does
the end.
much
Yep.
better at lower wattage. And obviously, if they're able to include more cores in the higher end parts, it'll end up being better performance.
Where are you from, by the
higher
way?
end as well.
I'm from
When
Puerto
it comes to
Rico,
the
and
actual chips themselves,
or
as you
moved
can
to
see,
Orlando,
AMD
Florida.
released two new Ryzen 70
I live in
processors.
Jacksonville,
The
Florida. I just
7545U
185
and
shot that guy. What a dookie braid.
And they're based on Phoenix 2. Of course,
And then his friend came up and got it too.
We've known about Phoenix 2 for a little while.
Oh my
So make sure
God.
you subscribe to be one of the first
Say
to
again?
learn all the
Last
new
part,
PC
where
hardware
you from?
news.
The last part.
I'm
I heard
from
the
Florida,
first
man.
part.
Is that they
Florida?
aren't all
That's
that
cool.
impressive.
Yeah.
We will likely expand these out to higher end chips in future generations. Either way,
They
the
would probably go at bottom.
7545U
Watch your
comes
top.
with 2 Zen 4 cores and 4 Zen 4C cores. And the 7440U comes with 1 regular Zen 4 core and 3 Zen 4C cores. Now, when looking at the specs, you will notice that AMD doesn't separate out
Fucker.
the big and little cores, which I do think is an issue. There are
I don't know what
obviously
is
performance
going on
differences
right
between the two, so AMD should disclose
Nice.
it. Obviously, it makes spec sheets more
I can
complex, but
see.
Intel has taken that route, so AMD absolutely should as well. All in all, though, AMD's hybrid core architecture is looking very
Damn.
impressive,
Got me.
and I seriously hope they bring it to more powerful
Watch your
chips.
angle on top and bottom.
So
Ambush.
that does it for today. Are you pumped for Andy's Ivory Force? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to try out Brilliant for free at brilliant.org/gamermelt. And as always, have a great day.
I got you the other angle. How many?
Israel and the United States. So let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is present today in Israel, where he met with the Israeli War Cabinet and asked for a series of, quote, humanitarian
Holy shit, you got my back on that?
Oh, I'm going for the
I just
overkill.
need one angle.
They're both one
Two
shot.
more
in
up
there,
there,
man.
two more up there.
Yeah, I was going for that overkill. God damn
Watch
it.
out.
I'm just dookie, man. I should have finished the other guy already before that exchange with the fourth guy even happened. I suck.
Nice.
Netanyahu said any ceasefire is contingent on the release
Behind you, behind you, behind you. Behind you, two behind you.
Which one?
Clear, we are continuing forcefully. Israel refuses a temporary ceasefire that does not.
That angle.
I bet
Watch
that's a
your
bit, yep.
ambush in there.
Yep.
One's coming on the top stairs.
I missed the melee.
I got him.
There's one shot my legs. Going into back of base, yeah. Alright. Are you teabagging? I'd like to see that, man.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Boxing gloves.
Show him,
I mean, boxing
show him what that
bag.
Show him what that Puerto Rican salt tastes like.
I was using a punching bag.
Yeah. You showed him what the speed bag routine was with the nutsack.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. Coming from Red. I think he's dead. That should be a need kill.
If they die awkward, I punch them like a punching bag. If they die awkward.
And I'm so proud of y'all. Scrappy picked up the double kill. Scrappy was
I did do that.
slacking in the beginning.
Yeah, I suck. I don't know what's going on. I've never played this bad.
I'm proud of you, man.
That was a double win.
Can we get a friendly?
Basically an outright smack in the face because he was still in the country when they were actually openly violating what you want to ask them to do.
Yeah, that should be an assist all day.
And utterly unsurprising.
I didn't get an assist for that? What?
Netanyahu and the Israeli government, they don't care about our words.
I'm on a killing spree. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, man. Show them how big that dick is.
Gigantic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, okay, we'll pause. We'll stop bombing your kids for however long, and then we'll go back to bombing your kids. Like,
Upstairs.
I got killed in the botanical area.
You can see the pressure really building. I mean, the other thing about that quote that you cited how naked, like in reaction to, you've now had 1 out of every 250 Palestinians in Gaza. Like, those are the numbers which are astonishing. I mean, you replied
He was thinking that to me.
in American skills. Okay, that's what we're talking about in terms of how many have been slaughtered in Gaza at this point. And your concern about that is like, we've got to make sure we've got the right narrative. And
Well, let's go see about this PR.
so badly. Like, it's already going badly. It's already a disaster. And, you know, this country that we basically, you know, certainly prop up in terms of their military and send massive amounts of money to every single year, let alone what they're, you know, getting ready to send to right now in this particular moment. You send your Secretary of State over there and he's like, no, we're not going to do that. And not only that, put this up on the screen. I mean, this, talk about horrors, talk about a slap in the face. Minutes after this meeting ended, apparently, Israel bombed a convoy of ambulances outside Al-Shifa Hospital. That's according to, you know, sources on the ground. It's also according to Al Jazeera, so I want to be clear. We're still getting the details about how many casualties, what exactly happened there, etc. But it looks like outside of this hospital, which, if memory serves, is the largest still operating hospital in Gaza, it's also the hospital where, do you remember this Saturday Netanyahu released this like bizarre computer animation claiming that Hamas had tunnels underneath the hospital? And so they've been telling them they have to evacuate. So here you have this convoy of ambulances of the critically wounded trying to evacuate this hospital to go to the Rafah crossing in the south, with hopes that they'd be able to go to these newly set up field hospitals in the south. And this is what was hit. And this is where all of the, the new casualties and injuries, etc. are. And this happens right after this meeting where Tony Blinken is calling for humanitarian pauses. So, yes, there is, our words mean nothing at this point without coming and using our actual leverage. And they've already heard everything they need to hear from us, which is, we 100% with you, stand with you no matter what, and we're not drawing a single red line. So, that's, we sort of made this bet.
Yeah, from what I can tell, as you said on the Al Shifa crossing, we're still getting some of the details of what happened there. It appears to have been a convoy and also outside of the hospital. As you said, the Israelis are claiming that this is a hotbed of a Hamas tunnel. May or may not be true.
But I just want to say, international doctors who've worked at that hospital for years, they do not believe that is true. They've seen absolutely no evidence of that. But even so, even if you accept their, computer generation Hamas terror, offices under the hospital situation, they were trying to do exactly that. They were trying to evacuate these critically injured people. And then it's a convoy of ambulances outside the hospital that appears to have been struck.
This is the issue for Israel. Any goodwill that is going towards them really has taken so many multiple hits, I think, in the international community. And often, of course, now by the Biden White House, especially when you saw the previous confirmation, for example, of now, there's a siege going on in Gaza City that is included not just in terms of water and electricity. In terms of the maps we've been trying to show everybody, Israeli troops are actually engaged on the outskirts, and in some cases, according to the IDF, they are actually inside the city of Gaza. There's small arms fighting. May well be entering the bloodiest phase of this, both for the IDF and actually in terms of Gaza City, because now is when some of that hand-to-hand combat.
Oh, it is a VR. There we go.
Blood, I'm sure you are as well, Crystal. People, bodies scattered on the streets. Israel's claiming Hamas shot him. Hamas is claiming Israel shot him. Nobody knows. They appear to be killed by small arms fire. I mean, it's one of those where the bodies are there that are on the street, and that is just going to continue as the Israeli casualties also continue to increase. We've gotten, more than a dozen or so now killed of wounded. So, as I also saw actually a call back to Vietnam, there are images that the IDF is putting out of Israeli soldiers going tunnel by tunnel and trying to clear. So, this is complete nightmare. They're 300 miles, remember, tunnels. And actually, the majority of that tunnel infrastructure exists in northern Gaza, which they are claiming for evacuation. So we are very, very much getting to the beginning of this overall death toll. Again, who knows for sure. The Gazans say 9,200 or so, as you said, in terms of putting it in perspective. They claim the vast majority women and children. They've actually put out names of the actual lists of who they're claiming are dead. Journalists are trying to go through infection.
Ryan actually did an analysis, cross-checking the family members of someone he knows who had multiple family members who they know were killed with the names on this list. And actually, it undercounted the names. Some of the family members were not there. In past conflicts, the Gaza Health Ministry, which yes, is run by Hamas, has been accurate in terms of their casualty and death counts. So that's important context based on what we can tell based on the journalistic analysis that have occurred. It does appear that that number is the most accurate.
Let's see what happens now, bitches.
It may actually be undercounting the number of injuries and the number of deaths, but we know the toll is extreme, and we also know that the toll is overwhelmingly civilian. It is largely women and children who are bearing the brunt of this horror. And so, you know, that's where we are right now. And I just to pick up just for a quick minute on what you said about the speech from Nasrallah, who is the head of Hezbollah, of course, and we were watching this very closely. And, you know, it's basically just like sort of their typical rhetoric and bluster and et cetera, et cetera. He's in between kind of a rock and a hard place because, you know, he has his own politics to deal with, which is in order for Hezbollah to keep their kind of street cred, they gotta appear tough, they gotta appear like they're taking on Israel, they gotta appear like they're standing up for the Palestinians, but they also have to think about the domestic population in Lebanon. Lebanon is sort of in free fall, you know, economically, politically, etc. And so the domestic population in Lebanon, not super excited about being staging ground for another front of this war. So, you know, that may be part of why this was mostly just bluster and not an active engagement and, you know, escalation into a regional war. So I guess we can all be relieved about that, but the danger still remains, obviously.
I have the direct translated quote here from the Wall Street Journal. For those who say Hezbollah should start the war in the region, I say wait, these are the beginnings from Nasrallah. More actions will be taken against Israel from several different fronts. This issue will become more obvious in the next few days. He also praised the Iranian-backed attacks on U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria. So this is not a declaration of war, but it is, you know, just a continuation of ongoing military action, which the danger always is. You never know when one of those is going to pop off and is going to make a geopolitical situation. So that's pretty much the update that we have for everybody so far. It's the biggest diplomatic development, I think, in the last couple of days. Of course, the Secretary Blinken's first trip to the region after the cancellation of that Middle East summit with President Biden, and it's the latest round of shuttle diplomacy, which has been a failure so far. So anything to add, Crystal, before we go?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. Utter humiliation for Tony Blinken.
We are running out of sand. That sounds insane. There are massive deserts all around the world that are just full of sand. 27.7% of the Earth's crust is just silicon, a key component of silica sand. The problem is that not all sand is created equal, and we use a lot of it. Over 50 billion tons of sand and gravel are used globally every year in paving and construction, but also in windows, screens, silicon chips, and photovoltaic cells. And this massive sand demand has been going on for a long time. A 2014 UN report estimated that sand was 85% of all material mined globally by weight. Sand is formed by the gradual erosion of rocks into smaller and smaller grains. This is a process that takes thousands of years, making sand a renewable resource only in a very technical sense. Plus, that sand has different properties depending on how it was created. Concrete typically uses water-weathered sand because the resulting grains are rough and angular, which allows them to lock together. Wind-weathered desert sand, on the other hand, tends to be too round and smooth. Therefore, Dubai, despite being built on a desert, imports hundreds of millions of dollars of sand each year to support its rapid growth. As for the screen in front of you and the silicon chips inside your device, that's a slightly different story. Glass needs to be made from near pure silica sand, sand that is at least 95% silicon dioxide, or your window is going to look just awful. It also needs to be extremely fine, with grains between 0.075 millimeters and 1.18 millimeters, and it also has to be the right color. For more sophisticated industrial purposes, silica is extracted from rock quartz and quartz-rich sand, then purified into 98% pure metallurgical grade silicon. Silicon for semiconductors needs to have a purity of 11 nines. That's 99%, a decimal, and 9 more nines. The advantage of this process is that the geometry of the sand doesn't actually matter all that much, so desert sand can be used. That being said, natural sources of sand vary a lot in terms of composition, and easily accessible quartz-rich sand sources are still a The global demand for sand is so intense that the industry has attracted attention from organized crime. And you know the situation is getting serious when a bunch of gangsters roll up and steal a beach. Sure, it sounds funny, but illicit sand mining can cause serious problems. Not only can intensely dredging of sand rivers and the oceans full damage.
Oh no!
But irresponsible sand mining can erode supports from nearby structures and has resulted in multiple fatal bridge collisions. There are a few ways we can manage the ongoing sand scourge, and we'll tell you about them right after we thank the sponsor of this video, DeleteMe. Your personal information is being easily shared online without your consent, and DeleteMe has a strong moral education, but that's wrong. They'll help you find hundreds of online profiles sharing your personal info.
No!
Annoying robocalls, scam emails. DeleteMe software and team of experts can remove this information in just minutes compared to the hours it would take to do manually. On average, DeleteMe removes over 2,000 pieces of data for a customer in their first 2 years. So, if you want to get your personal info removed from search results on the web, go to joindeleteme.com/techquickie and use code TechQuickie for 20% off. Now, we could massively scale down our use of sand, but we'd all still like to have buildings to live in, roads to travel on, and TVs to watch. And so, the spice must flow. There are other options, though. You might be able to produce the sand you use by shifting to other sources, aggregate silica, crushed rock, demolition material, and ore thin, a byproduct of the mining industry. Some have even suggested replacing sand with used, pyrolyzed coffee ground, which research has shown can even result in 30% stronger concrete in the right proportions. We also need to reuse what we've already extracted as much as we can. The bright side is that many processed forms of sand are basically infinitely recyclable. Around 80% of asphalt used in American roads is already recycled back into new asphalt. And glass can be broken down, tumbled, and turned back into sand. However, many forms of processed sand, such as rubber-like silicone polymers, can only be downcycled a limited number of times due to physical constraints, or they may be too contaminated to safely and economically recycle at scale with current technology. We also need to push for longer-lasting, repairable digital devices, because even the very cheap ones are made from materials that are ultimately limited. Life's a beach, and then you die. But first, you finished this video. Nice job. Hey, thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it.
Today, Apple announced their M3 lineup. AMD is going to begin focusing on this. Ryzen 8000 and 9000 APU sleep, and hard drives are officially dead for PC gamers. Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. First up for today, while I usually focus on PC hardware, it's always nice to look at what Apple is doing from time to time. And just recently, the company announced their next generation M3, M3 Pro, and M3 Max chips. Starting things off, we have the integrated GPU, which finally incorporates hardware-accelerated ray tracing as well as mesh shaders. And as usual with Apple, they're pretending this is brand new and hasn't been done for the last 4 years. One thing that is really interesting is their dynamic caching, which essentially allocates shared memory to the GPU dynamically, rather than going by the maximum amount the program caches and reserving that. Moving on to the CPU, the performance cores got a decent boost of 15% over last gen, with the efficiency cores getting a very nice 30% performance boost. When it comes to specs, the M3 is an 8-core CPU with a 10-core GPU and support for up to 24GB of unified memory. The M3 Pro comes with up to 12 CPU cores, 18 GPU cores, and up to 36GB of unified memory. Finally is the M3 Max, which comes with up to 16 CPU cores, 40 GPU cores, and up to 128GB of unified memory. All in all, these do look like a nice upgrade, along with the MacBooks that they come in, but we'll have to see when reviews drop. Next up for today, it looks like NVIDIA won't be the only company heavily relying on demand from AI to prop them up. During AMD's Q3 earnings call, the company made it clear that they're going to begin putting a heavy emphasis on AI moving forward. AMD's own CEO stated, quote, Based on the rapid progress we are making with our AI roadmap execution and purchase commitments from cloud customers, we now expect data center GPU revenue to be approximately $400 million in the fourth quarter and exceed $2 billion in 2024 as revenue ramps throughout the year. This growth would make the MI300 the fastest product to ramp to $1 billion in sales in AMD history. Of course, it's not a surprise that AMD would begin focusing more on AI in the future. I mean, look at the success NVIDIA has seen from the popular new technology. In just the past 4 years, NVIDIA's stock has gone up around 600%, so you can't really blame AMD, but let's just hope this new focus doesn't hamper funds to their gaming segment. Who am I kidding? It already looks to be happening. With that said, if you want to show AMD and other companies that there's still a ton of hardware, make sure to subscribe to GamerMeta. Next up, we will review AMD's upcoming Ryzen 8000 and 3000 APUs. This story comes from a new video by Moore's Law is Dead, where you can see he shared a roadmap for AMD's next generation APUs. Starting things off, we can see that AMD plans to continue with Dragon Range for their high-end CPUs with X3D. In 2025, though, they're apparently set to release Fire Range, which will come with up to 16 core CPUs with X3D as well. Those are set to be built on their next generation Zen 5. Next, we have the Strix Halo APU that I discussed before. Remember that this bad boy is set to be an APU that also comes with 16 cores, but it includes a whopping 40 CPUs based on RDNA 3.5. So this would completely obliterate the lower-end discrete GPU market. It also may offer variants with AMD's XDNA 2 SLA. These are set to be based on a 4nm process in Zen 5. Next, we have the lower Strix point, which will come with up to 12 cores, RDNA 3.5, and potentially even XDNA 2. You'll notice that we mentioned 45 different slots for some of these cards, and that's essentially not used for the theoretical maximum AI performance. And I think this further shows just how much of a focus AMD is planning to put on AI. Moving further down the list, we have Hawk Point, which is based on Zen 4, RDNA 3, and gets up to 16 TOPS. In 2025, we'll apparently see Kraken Point, which would come with up to 8 cores still, but built on Zen 5 and RDNA 3.5 and get between 45 and 50 TOPS. Moving down, you can see these are more on the lower end of the spectrum, with the budget Mendocino continuing to be used through 2025. And lastly for today, hard drives are officially dead when it comes to PC gaming. What sucks is that at the same time, PC games have become absolutely massive, with plenty of games requiring well over 100 gigabytes of storage. It all started with Bethesda's first new IP in 25 years, Starfield, as the game required a 125GB SSD. And that's not recommended settings, that's literally the minimum. One YouTuber decided to try it out with a 7200 RPM hard drive for themselves, and as you can see, there are some major stuttering issues. It may ultimately be playable, but you definitely wouldn't want to. Shortly after we received word on Starfield, the minimum specs for Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty update showed an SSD as a requirement as well. Alan Wake 2 also requires an SSD to play, and now Ubisoft has revealed that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora's minimum requirements need at least a 90GB SSD. Basically, more and more games are beginning to require faster storage, so I definitely call hard drives dead for PC. And sure, SSDs have gotten significantly cheaper over the years. I'll likely include a couple suggestions with affiliate links in the description if you're interested, but it still sucks because games have gotten massive, and hard drives are incredibly cheap, still much cheaper than SSDs. I have no doubt that it has a lot to do with the new tech like Microsoft's direct storage, so we are ultimately going to get faster load times, etc., but this is still a sad day. So while that does it for today, are you still running a hard drive in your gaming PC? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe, and as always, have a great day.
If you could be any size, what would you prefer? As big as physics allow me? You know what's funny? Like, I think if men had total control over how big they could make their dicks, I think everyone would start with, like, a pretty big dick, but I think the second they saw a dick bigger than theirs, they would try to one-up it. Until we had a world of unfuckable dicks. That's what I think would happen. Because I think that the hogs are for the boys, in a roundabout way. Nah, I'm good, that's how small dicks think. I need a bigger dick. Would it be smarter to just ask the girl what she wants? Mods, can we ban this fucking moron? You think this is about women, dude? Small dicks aren't just superior. Here's the reality, alright? Do you want to know what the ideal man is? Small cock, huge balls, big load, premature ejaculating. Why? Small cock fits in everything. No foreplay needed. Huge balls producing enormous nut. Lots of load. Premature ejaculation. No time needed. In and out. That is peak male performance. Don't let anyone tell you differently. That is peak male performance. Pendulous to the knees testicles. Gorilla penis. Premature ejaculation. The ultimate inseminator. They will win.
The new Windows 11 23H2 update just dropped, and while I do have some new stuff to show you, you should be aware that this is basically just an enablement package of a bunch of features that were added in the previous update in September, which was pretty big, but not all those features were enabled by default. So if you saw my previous video about all those features, those are the main ones. I do have some stuff that I'm going to show you that I wasn't able to before, but just be aware there's not really too much new from there, but you can watch that afterwards if you haven't seen that yet. In any case, this update is going to be rolling out, but if you want to get it right now, you can go into the settings and then Windows Update, and then be sure to get the latest updates as soon as they're available, and then check for updates and install whatever is there. And you'll know when you have it because you can go into the start menu and type in WinVer, like Windows version, and it should say 23H2, and then you'll know. Alright, so first, here are some really cool features that I'm excited about that I was able to talk about, but not actually show you in the previous video because that update had not rolled out to me. The first being an improvement to the snipping tool. So you might already know that it's had the video recording feature for a little while, but now, once you select the region for the video, you'll have an option to add recording of the system audio.
What the fuck is happening right there?
Either mute or enable.
Fucking don't take that gun ever again.
And choose the microphone. So you can also go into the settings and choose whether recording the system and microphone will be enabled by default, or if you just want to enable it each time. Alright, next up we have a feature in Microsoft Paint that again I didn't have before, but now I do, and that is Code Creator, or AI image generation built right into Microsoft Paint. The first time you click this little icon to enable it, it will probably pop up a little tutorial thing giving a little bit of an explanation, and then you simply type in a prompt for what you want it to generate. You can also choose a style if you want, one of several, such as photographic, or pixel art, or just none. Then once you click to generate it, it will generate a few options, and it will show up on the left side as you click each one, but you can also save the generations directly by simply clicking the down arrow and hitting save image from here, so it's not like you have to put it on the canvas and then save it. I should point out that this one does not use the latest DALL-E 3 model like the Bing online image generator does, which is also free. It seems to use the model which has been basically called DALL-E 2.5. It's better than the original DALL-E 2, but not as good as DALL-E 3. For example, it can't really do text. If we type in a prompt such as a smiling person holding a sign that says, wow, this is a cool sign, and then we have it generate some examples, and not exactly what I had in mind. So the faces are weird, you can see it can't do text, but if we then go to the Bing image generator, which uses DALL-E 3 with the same prompt, you can see that it's way better. It still messes up some words, but it's mostly right, and the faces look fine. If you have it generate enough, it'll make ones that are fully correct with the text. And it's also a lot better if it's only a couple words versus what I put. Still very cool though. I'm sure they're gonna update it eventually. They might just don't want to get overwhelmed with so many Windows users using the new latest one, which probably takes more computing power. Alright, now on to some new features in 23H2 that I don't believe I mentioned in the previous one. The first being a new System Components app menu that separates out system apps versus installed apps. You can get to this from the bottom of the installed apps list or also through the system menu. And you can see there's a few here. For some reason, some that I've seen in other people's lists don't show up in mine, such as Notepad. Not really sure why that is. Maybe it's because I use the one that's updated from the Microsoft Store. Not sure. So that's one thing I'd be curious about. Let me know down in the comments if you guys see the same list or maybe that list. Another thing that was also in the start menu of all apps list, you'll now see the system tag beneath those same apps, I believe. So same idea. Probably just to give people who aren't super familiar with Windows an idea of which ones came pre-installed and which ones might have been installed via, I don't know, like bloatware, stuff like that. Another little update, there's more languages now supported in the live captions feature. off the top of my head, I remember there's Chinese, German, French, I believe, so you might be able to use that feature now depending on where you live. Now next, originally Windows was supposed to get the new 3D emojis in this update, and I had them for a while, but apparently they went away again. I think apparently there was some kind of font rendering bug, so that might come back. I know I had it before, but just be aware. You're supposed to... Next, a bit of a more advanced feature are dev drives. You can get to this a couple places, such as going through System, and then for developers, and then create dev drive, though this might only be certain editions like Pro and up, might not be in phone. I'm not super familiar, honestly, with how dev drives work. Apparently, it lets you create a volume that is specifically for development workloads, and it's somehow optimized for that case. So if you are a developer, maybe read more up on it. I know it has something to do with the new REFS, Resilient File System, that Windows has in like Pro for workstations, but is not by default. Finally, Windows will be replacing that chat icon that was in the taskbar with Microsoft Teams Free Edition, which I believe was already included with Windows, but now that's just going to be the default thing for chat. I'm not super familiar with it, I've never used it, but if you see it go away, that's fine. So yeah, like I said, mostly minor stuff. If you want to see the real big main changes that might have been enabled with this update, then go and watch my previous video where I talked about all those features, and that's the bulk of the main really cool ones that you'll see. There's actually quite a few in there. I'll put that link right there you can click on. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Last week, in a low moment for this administration, President Biden was asked about the contradiction between Netanyahu's claim that he was doing all he could to minimize civilian casualties and the fact that on the ground, more than 6,000 people had been killed in just the first few weeks. He responded like this.
Do these numbers say to you that he is ignoring that message?
What they say to me is I have no notion that the Palestinians are telling the truth about how many people are killed. I'm sure it's 600 killed, and it's person waging a war.
News outlets quickly noted that the numbers reported by Hamas in previous wars had been broadly found to be accurate by human rights organizations, the United Nations, and even Israel itself. Truly showing how absurd Biden's claim was, the State Department itself routinely relies on the Gaza Ministry of Health despite its connections to Hamas, which rules over Gaza. Yet still, defenders of Israel's assault have suggested that the list released by the Ministry of Health is meaningless, that it might just be a collection of random names. Now it turns out that a few weeks ago, I reached out to a source I'd met during the previous reporting. His name's Maram Al-Dada, and he was born and raised in Gaza but now lives in Orlando. Still, he's been in regular contact with his family over there. I reached out to ask how his family was doing, and he said that 30 people on his mother's side and 7 on his father's had been killed so far. A week later, I had him on my Intercept podcast, Deconstructed, to talk about what life was like for his family in Gaza amid the bombing. But because Maram had told me about the killings before the Ministry of Health's list came out, that meant we could compare the two lists, and if his relatives were on it, it would mean that the list is not just filled with random names, but that each name does represent the tragic snuffing out of a life. So the list was first released in Arabic and includes the ID numbers given out by Israel to Palestinians, as well as their age and gender. My colleague of America Solid, who speaks Arabic, helped me go through it, and the ministry later released an English language version as well. We found 43 of his 46 relatives on the ministry's list. The youngest was Connie, who's just a baby, the oldest was 7 years old.
What a douche.
What has struck people the most about the denial of the slaughter and the hand waving it away as just the price of war is how different it was when the White House was talking about civilian casualties in Ukraine. Here's now this news with a quick comparison.
Being honest about the fact that there have been civilian casualties and that there likely will be more is being honest, because that's what war is. It's brutal, it's ugly, it's messy. I've said that before. The president also said that yesterday. Doesn't mean we have to like it.
It's hard to look at what he's doing in Ukraine, what his forces are doing in Ukraine, and think that any ethical, moral individual could justify that. It's difficult to look at the...
Oh, come on. That's so lame.
Sorry. It's difficult to look at some of the images
and imagine that any
Well, that was done. I'm done with the BR for now, but that's fucking pretty
serious
good,
mature
pretty
leader
fun.
would do that.
Since the start of the war in Ukraine, by the way, there have been just under 10,000 civilian casualties. In Gaza, already more than 3,000 children have been killed. The health ministry's new death toll has climbed above 8,000. Hassan al-Tayyab noted on Twitter that according to Save the Children, the number of children killed in Gaza over the last 3 weeks has surpassed the number of children killed in wars around the world over the past 3 years combined. And so now that we know that the Ministry of Health list that is being put out in Gaza does have the names of real people who have actually died, it kind of, I think, puts the White House in a difficult position, because the attempt to say that, well, this is just coming from Hamas, we can't really believe this, is belied by that fact that there are real people on that list, real people who led real lives that were ended in the last couple of weeks, combined with the images that we're seeing. And you see John Kirby talk about how hard it is to look at the images of civilians killed in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
That's equally true in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder if you're starting to see any shift. You had John Kirby do this like weird West Wing video yesterday. Did you see this?
No.
He's like doing a walk and talk.
Oh.
And he's talking about how there's a humanitarian crisis in Gaza, and here are all the things that the United States is doing to alleviate the humanitarian crisis, which seemed at least to suggest that there was some awareness that the world was turning on them on this. It's remarkable. Israel has taken global sympathy and torched it faster than anybody I've ever seen. Like the entire world was united behind Israel on October 7th after the atrocities carried out by Hamas, and the response has just obliterated that empathy and sympathy.
And I think some of that was inevitable because I do think that there are some activists and particular lawmakers who had no room for, almost immediately were calling for a ceasefire and calling for Israel not to retaliate. And that's a ridiculous position. But even so, it's a ridiculous position that, we have no limit on civilian casualties, that the whatever it takes position in Ukraine, like these are also ridiculous positions. And so
do we have Graham on that?
Yeah, well, I think we have something else before that. But that's a position that Lindsey Graham has taken. We'll get to that in just a second. We have actually right here, speaking of support, we can put the next element up on the screen. This is from Time. Biden's Gaza stance spurs stunning drop in Arab American support. I'm just going to read a little bit from it here. The first national poll of Arab Americans since the war in Gaza began shows how deep that sense of betrayal among Arab Americans goes, with only 17% of Arab American voters saying they will vote for Biden in 2024, a staggering drop from 59% in 2020. So in 2020, 59% of Arab American voters say they're going to vote for Biden. Now that number is 17%. So James Zogby, who is the founder and the president of the Arab American Institute, says, quote, "This is the most dramatic shift over the shortest period of time I've ever seen." This is a really interesting point from Time. The poll results are likely to increase concerns among Democrats about Biden's standing with Arab Americans heading into 2024, particularly in Michigan, where roughly 277,000 Arab Americans call home, and Biden won in 2020 by a margin of 155,000 votes. Yeah. That's a huge blow to his ability to win Michigan, that's for sure.
There's an interesting primary unfolding in Houston, Texas. This Democratic challenger named Pervez Agwan, who I actually wrote about a couple months ago, maybe back at The Intercept, is challenging kind of a backbench Democrat, sturdy eight-hack ally named Lizzie Fletcher. That primary, I think, is not until March, so we won't get a look at how that's unfolding until then. But he is running his campaign just head on, kind of against Fletcher over Fletcher's support for Israel's war effort, Fletcher's unconditional support for Israel's war effort. And if he's able to kind of campaign on that, he would be basically the first candidate, I think, ever to oust an incumbent for being too unconditionally supportive of Israel. That has never happened before. And if that happens, you still have 9 months between that and the election. I don't think we should be making war and peace decisions based on polling and focus groups, because these are questions of morality and good and evil.
Right.
On the other hand, that is an extraordinary swing away from Biden, and it also puts voters, Arab voters in particular, or anybody who is sympathetic to Palestinian dignity, in such a difficult position, because you just had the Trump's ambassador to Israel. He was suggesting that anybody who's a foreign exchange student and is a quote unquote Hamas supporter, he doesn't really mean Hamas supporter, he means anybody who's kind of critical of Israel's war in Gaza, should be deported. And you've started to see that from elements of the right, that if you're here on a visa and we don't like your political views around the Israel-Palestine question, you're out of here. And so people are faced with the choice of sitting the election out, or actively working against Biden and helping to elect someone who's then going to try to deport foreign exchange students, calling them supporters of Hamas, or voting for Biden, who is actively overseeing this just ongoing war crime.
Yeah, and without getting too much into the campus stuff, if you look at the Students for Justice in Palestine toolkit, it does concern me if there are people who are on visas here and we're sharing the paraglider template that was in the Students for Justice in Palestine toolkit. Like, I actually went and looked at the toolkit and I was like, holy smokes, this is some wild stuff. Not entirely unsurprising, but if there's somebody on a foreign visa here who's like, yay, terrorism, which is what the paragliders were engaged in, and that's not representative of Palestine, but it is Hamas, I would have an issue with that. But I think the broader point about Arab Americans looking at the Biden administration is completely a serious one for Democrats. And it's also, in some respects, Republicans had made inroads with Arab Americans, especially in Michigan, actually in the DC area on some of these education issues. That is not going to be a durable coalition, that's for sure, going forward. Now, we do have the Lindsey Graham clip that we've been teasing because it's, I think, actually very useful. This is Lindsey Graham on Abby Phillips' show on CNN Tuesday night.
Is there a threshold for you, and do you think there should be one for the United States government, at which the U.S. would say, let's hold off for a second in terms of civilian casualties? Is there a point at which you would start to question?
Somebody asked us after World War II, is there a limit what you would do to make sure that Japan and Germany don't conquer the world? Is there any limit what Israel should do to the people who are trying to slaughter the Jews? The answer is no. There is no limit, but here's what you need to do. Be smart. Let's try to limit civilian casualties the best we can. Let's put humanitarian aid in areas that protect the innocent. I'm all for that, but this idea that Israel has to apologize for attacking Hamas, who's embedded with their own population, needs to stop. The goal is to destroy Hamas. Hamas is creating these casualties, not Israel.
So I'm supposed to trust Lindsey Graham, who just, was a huge backer of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and of drone strikes, to limit civilian casualties. I don't.
Especially when he's saying he basically doesn't care.
Well, and there's a really easy answer to that question, by the way, which is I cannot answer it. I cannot tell you because that's fodder for enemies. Ben Shapiro, who I'm sure a lot of our viewers don't like, I think actually made a really legitimate point here when he said, if you answer the question, you allow Hamas to hit that number of civilian casualties and then pressure the West to just be like, okay, we're done. We're totally backing out of this. So just don't answer the question. You don't have to answer the question. You can actually explain that if that's really what your concern is. But then again, that's asking us or ascribing to Lindsey Graham this sense of concern about it that I'm genuinely unclear on whether that actually exists.
But I think the question would not be asked if there was a sense that there was genuine concern about civilian casualties, right, and there was an actual attempt being made. It's only when you have people start to say, look, it's just the price of doing business. It's sad, but we just have to do it. Then that's when you say, okay, well, what's the price? Mm-hmm. Like you're saying it's a price. What's the price? And if the posture where no civilian casualties are okay. We're going to do everything we can to minimize them, and we're going to be critical of Hamas for its hiding behind civilians, but we're going to be the civilized ones. And so, okay, we're going to say that they have a human shield. We're not going to shoot at them. To say that, well, they have a human shield, therefore, unfortunately, we had to shoot and kill the innocent civilian, does not make you the civilized one in that exchange. Kirby was actually asked about this from a Palestinian reporter in the White House. Kind of basically the same question. Interesting back and forth. Let's roll that.
Thousands of Palestinian civilians have fallen so far, including 160 of my own relatives. And I'm just wondering, how many Palestinian civilians need to be killed before the United States called for a ceasefire?
First of all, my condolences to you and your family. Are you in touch with some that are
as much as I can?
Not as much as you'd like to be, yeah. But I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that. And so I can see this is obviously personal for you. I can tell you it's personal for the president too. We don't want to see any more civilian casualties. So in terms of a ceasefire, our concern with that is that Hamas benefits to the tune of being able to refit, renew themselves, plan and execute additional attacks. And as I said yesterday, right now is not the time for a general ceasefire. It is, however, the time to consider pauses in the fighting long enough so that folks like your relatives and family members can get this incredibly needed humanitarian assistance and perhaps a way to get out if they want to get out. So we're supporting that, and we'll see what we can do.
Did you notice when humanitarian pauses from time to time?
Mhm.
Like that's kind of an assumption that this is going to go on for a very long time.
Yes.
That was kind of chilling and disturbing to hear. You saw him raise his hand right afterwards. His next question was also a good one. He asked about whether or not the United States would guarantee that if the civilians were pushed out of Gaza, that they'd be allowed the right of return, because a lot of Palestinian civilians were guaranteed that right in both 1948, 1967, 1973, and it never came to pass. And that a lot of people in Gaza can see their old farms and their old land from behind the fence. And so a lot of them say, we're not going to the desert because we're not going to be able to come back. And Kirby's response was, our policy is not to have some sort of permanent settlement outside of Gaza for the people who call that home. We want them to be able to go back home and do so safely and effectively. We are not calling for them their permanent refuge from the country. But again, it's good to have that on the record. But if you try to show this clip at the border when you're trying to get back in, not sure it's going to work.
No, and that's exactly what we were just talking about. Okay, so what is your plan? You're evacuating. We already have some 1.4 million, I think is the latest report I saw, displaced Gazans that have gone south. The south of Gaza, as Israel and the United States have said is the plan, and then to move people into Egypt as is possible, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so what is the plan to bring people back in a way that makes Israel feel as though, and reasonably they have concerns, it can exist safely without another October 7th happening right away or in the near future? How do you do that? And how do you tell people to leave their homes and the land that they're clinging to and that they believe in, and then say, yeah, you're going to come back, and this is also going to please the other stakeholder who's prosecuting this war? We have basically just John Kirby saying we want to do it. That is the extent of what we know about this plan from both Israel and the United States, is that we know that we want to do it. Great step. How are you going to do it? Because it's it's a feat. It's a feat, and there's just no clear sign. And again, this is also what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. We had really nebulous goals, and we had a just, and well, I shouldn't say that. We had, I definitely shouldn't say that, but we had, so after 9/11, obviously, we had reason to go after Al-Qaeda. So that pretense had that sort of sheen of a just cause, and what happened was a disaster. just a let's use the word quagmire.
Mhm.
It was a quagmire because we had nebulous plans for what we would do in the power vacuum that continued, and what we would do with civilians. And as much as I understand and you support Israel's right to retaliate, I know we disagree on that point. And believe that Israel faces an existential threat. I don't trust our government. I don't trust Western governments to prosecute this war justly. Hey, if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Breaking Points.
If you want to see the rest of Counterpoints, go to breakingpoints.com to become a premium member and get the full uncut show every morning in your inbox and on Spotify.
Help us build independent news and get the full show every morning at breakingpoints.com.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I would like to discuss something that Mazda did that is very anti-consumer and anti-ownership. There are a number of points that I'd like to try to make with this video, so I'm going to ask that you have the patience to be open to listening to the numerous different points that I'm going to be making, because this video is going to go in several different directions at the same time. There are a number of things that I want to address with this thing that Mazda did recently, which is where they took down an integration that allowed somebody who is using a product called Home Assistant to use Home Assistant with their Mazda vehicle. For those who are not aware of Home Assistant is a project that is open source with a very permissive license that is what, in my opinion, technology in cloud was supposed to be. Many of the people who watch this channel would never dare have a cloud-connected device in their home because they realize that the practical reality of how cloud devices are implemented nowadays is fundamentally anti-freedom. Cloud is not a feature, it's often an anti-feature. It's a way for a company to change the device's functionality after the sale. It's a way for them to take features that used to be free and turn them into subscriptions. Above all, it's a way for a company to be able to remotely turn off something that you purchased and paid for. And that's not what cloud is ever supposed to be, nor was it what technology is supposed to be. Home Assistant is an amazing open source project with a very permissive license that is everything that cloud and automation was supposed to be. You being able to turn on or turn off lights in your home, you being able to turn on or turn off the air conditioning in your home, see what's going on with your car without anybody else having control over. Home Assistant is the type of software that the average viewer of my channel that would say F all this cloud nonsense would be, and dare I say should be, proud to have in their home. I'm not paid by Home Assistant. I just think it's good stuff. You can self-host or self-manage your own instance on a server of your choice, and you get to run the client. You get to run the server, not somebody else, and you get to choose who connects to it. This is a great piece of software, whether you want to change the temperature in your house prior to coming home, or you want to see what's going on with your car. And there's a gentleman that wrote a great library for being able to connect to a Mazda vehicle. This is a piece of software that many people found useful for many reasons, and I'd like to read you what some of those reasons are. One individual said that he used it frequently to ensure there was enough gas in his car for an early commute that was with a shared car, and for alerts to see if the windows are up before rain is supposed to arrive, to allow remote unlocking, so to avoid a long hike back to the car when I left the keys inside, and remote starting as the weather starts to get colder. Again, early morning commutes. He says that Mazda's application is a very poor implementation of these features and functionality, whereas the integration that somebody wrote for Home Assistant is excellent. It works, it's high quality, it respects your freedom, it respects your privacy, like this stuff should have been from the beginning, and above all, they're not charging money for it. It uses the API that the vehicle makes available to you to be able to do these things. Now, what Mazda did is they decided to file a DMCA takedown notice, and I'd like to read you the sections that I found to be the most disgusting. Please do keep in mind that I am not a copyright attorney, I am not a software engineer, I can't even get WordWrap to work in C on exercise 122, and I've been trying to for 3 weeks. No, really. So I'm not an expert in this area at all, and if you are, please do correct me where I'm wrong below. I don't want to pretend I'm one when I'm not. I'm simply somebody that reads this and thinks that this is bullshit. So they say, please describe the nature of your copyright ownership or authorization to act on the owner's behalf, because they are talking about code that is on GitHub, and they are saying that they are authorized to act on the copyright owner's behalf. The original copyright owner is Mazda Motor Corporation, parent company of Mazda North American Operations. The original copyrighted code that is infringed upon is on the App Store and the Google Play Store. The code enables Mazda customers to use these applications to perform the following functionality on their vehicles: locate dealers, download owner's manuals, stay up to date with recalls, remote start, monitor vehicle health, receive vehicle status alerts, easily find your car remotely, and so on and so forth. And they're saying that Mazda has invested tremendous time and resources to develop confidential and proprietary information, including computer code used by this company, and proprietary API information, and blah, blah, blah. And they're asking for a takedown of the code that was added to Home Assistant that would allow you to be able to access the information on your Mazda that you paid for that is connecting to the internet, whether you like it or not, to be able to read statistics from the vehicle. Now, there's a couple of things here that strike me as crazy. Again, even as somebody that's failed for 3 weeks to get word wrapped to work in C on Dennis Ritchie's exercise 122. The first is that they are assuming that code is being infringed upon. They have closed source copyrighted code that is from the App Store, and that if you're accessing an API, the only way that they could do it is if they stole your code. That's not true. It's an API. They could simply poke and probe at the API and figure out how it works. I don't think these people understand how an API works at all. For instance, I have one for my ticketing system at work called Repair Shopper. There's an API. I have information for this API where if you input certain information, it will then output information like the status of a ticket. You don't have to steal code from an application to figure out how this works. You could just simply reverse engineer it. I didn't have to steal a manual from Apple to figure out that when the SMC is off, PP-Bus G3 Hot is 8.15 volts. When the SMC is on, PP-Bus G3 Hot is 8.55 volts. That's something that I can learn by using my own brain, by probing a board that works and probing a board that doesn't work and noting the differences between the two and pattern recognition. The concept that in order to use an API that you must have stolen copyrighted code is the most brain-dead thing I've ever heard in my life. And the reason that Mazda is making this argument is because they believe that GitHub is not going to fight it, but more importantly, they realize that if they show up with a lawyer and the other person is making free software that they're not charging money for, that they're just doing as a hobby project, that they'll simply give up. The claim does not have to stand up in court. Mazda does not need to make a technically correct legal claim. They simply need to be annoying enough that an open source project developer who makes no money decides it's not worth it to me to fight this. And if this individual is literally making $0 for his time because this is a passion project, he is rationally going to say, I don't feel like fighting Mazda's lawyers because I have a job, I have a life, I have a family. This is not worth it to me. Mazda knows that, and that is why they are making a claim that is this garbage. Now, there was a case with Google and Oracle several years ago where a court decided that an API was fair use. Google using Oracle stuff was fair use. However, they didn't say whether or not you can or cannot copyright an API. That was still kind of fuzzy because people are bringing up that case. That case is not saying that you cannot copyright an API, which again to me is insane because I don't think that should be copyrightable. But it's saying that what Google was doing was fair use. But you must keep in mind that when Google decided to fight Oracle, Google has money to fight Oracle, and they have time, and they have an incentive structure that a developer that is literally developing a plugin and a library in their spare time is not going to. These companies do not need to create the best claims. They simply need to create a claim that is a hassle or a nuisance for you to fight. Similar to when I was dealing with the New York State government and I would deal with these nonsensical fines and things, they don't have to be correct. You just have to make it so that it takes a 4-hour phone call to get around it. For most business owners who decide, screw it, I'm just going to give you the money and pay you what you're asking for because I don't want to deal with this shit. And that's what they're doing here. The next thing that I think is very important to go over is the fanboys. On this channel, I hope that people don't listen to these videos and think, this is the only company that's bad, that's why I love this other company. I want them to be fans, or dare I say, viewers or patrons of a philosophy rather than a brand. Many people will point to companies like Tesla or Apple that do many anti-consumer things. And when they do anti-consumer or anti-freedom things, I will be the first to bash them on this channel. That being said, let's be real here. If internal combustion engine personal vehicles came out in 2023 rather than in the late 1800s and early 1900s, we'd probably be dealing with subscriptions for how many times you want to use your spark plug. Every time you want to, start the vehicle, like, oh, you get 10 starts a month for $10 a month. You get 20 starts a month for $20 a month. You get unlimited starts a month for $100 a month. You know that the landscape would be different if cars came out today. The only reason that we have the freedoms that we do with these devices are because these are grandfathered in, because these devices came out 100 years ago, back during a time when we actually valued ownership and we valued freedom in this country. And it is not something that we value the same way now. It's easy to point at Apple. It's easy to point at Tesla. It's easy to point at these companies and laugh and say, this is an electric vehicle problem. This is an Apple problem, when in reality, It's a culture problem. And other companies, old industry companies, are starting to catch up on this anti-freedom, anti-ownership crap. This is not something that only affects you if you have an electric vehicle. These are internal combustion engine vehicles where you are using the software to be able to check how much gas is in your vehicle, and they're disabling your ability to do that unless you use their software. Your car connects to the internet whether you like it or not, but you're not allowed to use the software of your choice to connect to your vehicle. And if somebody makes software that's widely utilized because it is superior to the manufacturer's software, well, they're just going to use a bullshit legal claim to shoot that down, because God forbid you have the freedom to say how you access your car. I think it's very important that we stop looking at this as a Tesla problem, an Apple problem, an electric vehicle problem, and we start looking at it for what it is. It's a freedom problem. It's an ownership problem that every single company, in the pursuit of making more money by taking away our mindset of freedom, is taking part in nowadays, so that we don't get tunnel vision and we don't focus on this over here and allow all these other companies over here to screw us, because that's what's happened. Lastly, to end the video, speaking of companies that don't want you using alternative software that gives you more, kills me to say, but I am going to have to censor myself in this platform in a way that I did not have to before. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty in this video, nor will I get into the nitty-gritty on this platform. There are certain principles that I have when it comes to freedom, and there are certain principles I have when it comes to identity, and more importantly, owning your identity and the importance of owning your identity, that I hope have become much more obvious now that certain content that I've created is less available now than it was before. There are principles that I've had for a very long time, whether it is right to repair, your ability to have the freedom to do what you wish with what you own, or your freedom to be able to manage your own identity. And on this channel, it's incredibly important to me that I not just talk about a problem, but that I also try to be a part of the solution. When it comes to right to repair, when it comes to Apple saying that you should not be allowed to do these repairs, here's why. I don't want to just say that they're wrong. I want to demonstrate that they're wrong, and not just in a way where you can agree with my argument, but where you can be a part of the solution. I don't just want to say that they're wrong about repair. I want you to be able to take part in it yourself. I want you to pick up the tools. I want you to learn how to use them, and I want you to follow my example that I did with over 1,000 videos and make people's devices work again. Make sure that every one of those customers that was told it's impossible to fix a board understands on an innate level, once you have saved their data and saved their device for 1/4 of what Apple was charging, that they were full of shit the entire time. I've always tried to be a part of the solution, and I've always tried to teach people how to take part in their own solutions. I'm not a person that puts bumper stickers in their car. I'm not a person that wears t-shirts with slogans on them. I want to take action, and I want to encourage others to take action that works towards that solution. So when I talk about the problem of identity, of not owning your identity as a creator, and a company being able to say your identity is gone one day, you after the New York Times hailed you as a great de-radicalizer simply because you said something that they don't like, how you should have a direct connection with your audience. These are things that I believe in, and I didn't just want to make a video complaining about 3D Print General. I didn't just want to make a video complaining about what happened to Destiny or anybody else. I wanted to try and be part of a solution. What that means is that there is a chance in the near future that we may not see each other as much in this platform. I've spent 11 years in this platform standing up for what I believe in, and whether or not I thought that it was the best thing to do for my business or the best thing to do for my personal brand. Again, something tells me if I were to go on LinkedIn and apply for a normal job someday, if my company went away and my YouTube channel went away, that's just, I don't know, like getting hired as a manager at Micro Center or some shit. Like, it's just not going to happen. But I just wanted to say, in case something does happen and we're not able to see see each other here on this platform anymore, that having the last 11 years in this platform to be able to talk to you all, to talk to you about my ideas, to share my passion with all of you for what I do, and see you take part in that passion and build your businesses and fix stuff for people and be a part of giving people their freedom back, that's meant everything to me. And in fact, when I look back over the last 34 years of life, I'll be honest with you, it's one of the few things that's meant anything to me. Thank you very much for being a part of that. I appreciate all of you. That's about it. Sorry, I didn't script this video. I honestly don't script most of them, but usually I at least kind of try to talk it through before I do it, so I have an idea of how it's going to go. I didn't, so off the cuff. Thank you all. I appreciate you all. Whether I am able to continue uploading here or not at some point, it's been a fun ride, and I genuinely appreciate all of you who have been along for the ride these 11 years. Bye now.
Good evening, and welcome to Apple Park.
Introducing M3, M3 Pro, and M3 Max. To start, they are the first chips for a personal computer built using the industry-leading 3nm technology.
We use these cutting-edge transistors to advance every component of these new chips to deliver increased performance and new features to every chip in the family. The biggest advancement comes with the GPU. The M3 family of chips introduces a next-generation GPU that takes the largest leap forward in graphics architecture ever for Apple Silicon. It starts with a new microarchitecture that has a breakthrough feature we call dynamic caching. In our next-generation GPU, local memory gets dynamically allocated in hardware in real time. Only the exact amount of memory that is needed is used for each task. This dramatically increases the average utilization of the GPU, which significantly increases performance for the most demanding pro apps and games. This next-generation GPU also brings new rendering features to Apple Silicon, like hardware-accelerated mesh shading. Mesh shading brings greater capability and efficiency to geometry processing, enabling more visually complex scenes. Finally, the new GPU architecture brings hardware-accelerated ray tracing to the Mac for the first time. Ray tracing models the physical properties of light as it interacts with a scene, enabling games to render more accurate shadows and reflections to create more realistic environments. And Pro 3D rendering apps can produce stunning ray-traced visuals faster than ever. The combination of hardware-accelerated ray tracing and the new graphics architecture allows Pro apps to deliver up to 2.5 times faster rendering performance than the M1 family of chips. Now let's look at the M3 family's next-generation CPU cores. The performance cores are up to 30% faster than the M1 family, while maintaining their fantastic power efficiency. And the efficiency cores take an even bigger leap in performance for many typical tasks, up to 50% faster. This architecture is able to deliver the same multi-threaded CPU performance as M1 with just half the power, and the GPU is able to deliver the same performance as the M1 using nearly half the power as well. Now, when we compare it against the latest 12-core PC laptop chip, it delivers the same CPU performance using just 1/4 of the power. And when we compare it to the GPU performance of that chip, it delivers the same performance using just 1/5 of the power. M3, M3 Pro, and M3 Max also have a faster and more efficient neural engine. That is a breathtaking 60%.
How do we even get to that?
Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day.
Well, it looks like Starfield will finally be getting DLSS support officially, not requiring a mod, and they've also confirmed FSR3 support incoming, although that will be in a future update, even more future than the future update that will be coming with the DLSS support. That one looks like that one will also get HDR controls. This will be in a Steam beta update next week. So, it looks like it's good that Bethesda is finally moving forward with these things that people have been requesting since launch. It does seem to be taking a while to get them, and since it's taken this long to get DLSS support, which modders had out day one, I understand that game devs need play test everything and whatnot, but anyway, it seems like it's taken a while. I'm not quite sure how long it'll take then for us to get FSR3 support, but at least it is confirmed. Now, we got tons more news to talk about today, but first, now let me show you something really cool from today's sponsor, Power Color, with their Red Devil GPUs with their swappable Devil Skin backplates. It's so cool not to have to be locked into just one design. You can choose the one that fits best for you, easily swappable with magnets. We've got the intrusive Devil Skin, which is the kind of the simpler, sleeker looking one, and we've got the mesh design called the generative Devil Skin. These are all really cool. They just attach on with magnets. Excellent choice for a high-end GPU. Check the link in today's description. Now, Intel keeps plugging away on their GPU drivers, and this is really good news because it'd be, by the time they get their next generation out, if they had a lot of the software support issues ironed out that, they had problems with when they got the ARC cards out initially, we could potentially see much stronger reviews from day one. And Intel has just been continually delivering these updates and shoring up their back catalog of all these, games that did, specific driver optimization. And they're kind of late to the party on that, and there's nothing you can do other than just kind of get in there and start doing it. We're seeing headlines of up to 750% performance increase. Now, let's be careful if you dig into their actual driver notes. That is true in Halo the Master Chief Collection specifically, at 1080p with enhanced settings. Now, my guess is, well, I haven't tested this myself, it's probably one of those cases if it's just going from being a broken game to a not broken game. And the average uplift in most of these games is significantly smaller, although not insignificant. 10% improvement is nice, 6% improvement is nice. Some of them, Guild Wars 2, 53% improvement, Sniper Elite 3, 37% improvement, Yakuza 0, 154%. Like, there's a lot of noticeable performance improvements here. Not that I've tested them myself to confirm, but in general, when Intel has made these claims with their driver updates, there is something to it. It's not nonsense, and they're just continually plugging away at this, and that's what we want to see from them. Now, how about some NVIDIA news? We're continuing to get more 40 series super update, refresh, whatever you want to call it, variants in the news. This time, we're talking about their power consumption targets. Now, this leak is coming from Copite7 Kimmy, who, if you've monitored GPU leaks for a while, is one of the most well-known and most quoted GPU leakers. Doesn't mean everything that he says comes to pass, but a lot of times that could be the case, that things are getting bounced around behind the scenes at NVIDIA, and what they're thinking about one day might not end up being what they end up deciding on and ends up shipping to the market. So, this is a reply to a previous tweet I have already talked about, but the reply now is they will have the same power consumption than non-super models. So basically they're not shifting their power consumption targets. Now, this WCCF Tech article does, I think, have a summary of a quick recap of the actual specs leaks that I've reported on previously. So the 4080 Super variant is being reported as a 5% core count increase versus the non-super variant, which isn't mind-blowing. The 4070 Ti Super versus the 4070 Ti would be a 10% increase in core count, and again, core count isn't always a direct indicator of the exact performance uplift. That can be affected by a variety of other things as well. But the 4070 Super versus the 4070 non-super is actually rumored at a 22% increase, which is much more significant. Now, whether any of these actually end up coming to market, and if so, do they come to market in these variants, all remains a question mark, and the biggest question mark would be the pricing. If they come in at the same pricing as their non-super counterparts, that would be one thing. If they just slot in above them and don't replace them in the market or don't push them down, that's another thing. Now, when will we be getting these, if we get them at all? The videocards.com article on this topic does have a quote where they said that they asked board partners. So the videocards.com article, the author here has contact with board partners, and they're saying they do not anticipate any significant announcement this year. So would we see it by the end of 2023? Sounds like probably not, otherwise board partners would probably be aware of that. So they're saying that we would probably expect no earlier than next year. Now, what they do mention here, which I think is important, is so what is the big deal with these power consumption numbers that we're now getting as a rumor? So for the GPU cooler manufacturers, board partners, the main things they would need to know is, would these be pin compatible with the previous variants, and what is their power consumption limits for cooling? Because I think that would give them what they would need in order to kind of move forward with those cooler model designs and if it's compatible with models that already have out, that kind of thing. Now, in AMD GPUs, we are seeing Sapphire board partner unveiling a Radeon RX 6750 GRE 12GB Aurora OC edition, and they're claiming up to 30% faster than RTX 4060 at a similar price. Now, I've already reported on the 6750 GRE, and there's two variants of it, a 10GB version and a 12GB version, and I don't love that they're both called the 6750 GRE. And when I've reported on their specs, these are basically the same thing. The 12GB version, specs-wise, looks almost identical to the 6700 XT, not the 6750 XT. And the 10GB version looks basically the same thing as the 6700 non-XT 10GB card that we already had. The main interesting thing about these was that their price point was officially lower at $289. Now, with the GRE models of cards, though, generally end up being a China-exclusive card, at least in the DIY market, and maybe coming in the pre-built systems more globally. However, and I'll show you guys the instructions. Look nice and all of that. Now, what's more interesting, though, is we're starting to see reports of a different GRE model, the 7900 GRE, starting to see DIY availability in Europe. So if those start to come more worldwide, then maybe there is a potential of eventually seeing 6750 GRE models becoming more available worldwide. And again, if the pricing is right, that's what could be interesting here. Because again, if this is basically a 6700 XT 12GB card, but at $289, that's pretty interesting considering the 6700 XT is usually available closer to $320 in the United States, with occasional sales that I've seen down to $299. So it would, be a good price to performance competitor there, and with 12GB versus the, priced, if it does get priced down lower to the 4060, which launched at $300, but we have seen discounts available on that. So if it was more of a direct competitor again on pricing, that does at least sound pretty interesting to me. Now, speaking of 4060 models, how about a 4060 Ti, but with an M.2 expansion slot? We had seen these rumored and kind of leaked early pictures of it, all of that for a long time now. But now it looks like these have actually launched. Now, it's important to note that this SSD is not acting as like a part of the card, really. Like, it's not adding in more memory to the GPU or anything like that. It's just an interesting design in the sense that it gives you an additional M.2 slot for your PC to use, but it comes in through the GPU. I think this is interesting use of the I just like completely left the screen there. Oh, hi guys, I'm back. Anyway, the 4060 Ti models have been notable in the fact that they only actually use 8 of the 16 PCIe lanes that would be available on the full slot. So this M.2 NVMe SSD drive is going to be using the wasted potential on those lanes. So if you had a motherboard where all your M.2 slots are full, and you bought this GPU, you would then get access to another M.2 slot. With SSD prices as low as they are now, this is a great time to add in more storage, and this gives you another slot to do that. The main thing that you would want to check for value-wise is what is the price of this card versus a normal 4060 Ti that didn't have this feature versus other ways of expanding your M.2 slot availability, if there's other ways to add that into your motherboard, that kind of thing. But I certainly like seeing innovation.
Hello everyone, great to be with you again. One of the real attractions of the south of France is the fact that it doesn't rain too often, and it's a pleasant day for football here at the Orange Velodrome. I'm Derek Ray, and sharing commentary with me as usual is Stuart Robson, and the excitement levels are high, the tension is palpable because it is the first match of the campaign. It's France taking on Real Madrid.
Well, thanks, Derek. Promoted teams often do well at the beginning of a new season and then fall away, but I think they're a good side, so I'm expecting them to have another good campaign and start with a win today.
Of 5-element special edition.
Rodrigo.
With some cool kinds of new designs on it and all of that.
And Valverde. And unfortunately for him, he had worked his way into an offside position.
And I think everybody in the ground could see that was always going to be offside.
So, we already have Zen 4. What is the C? What's going on with all of this? So there are Zen 4
Koundé on the ball.
And now there are going to be Zen 4 C
Moussa Diaby,
which are smaller. So because they have
Aurélien
35%
Tchouameni
less area, this can
and unable to pick out a teammate, and that'll be a throw.
With some trade-offs, I think, like to the L2 cache and things
Eduardo
like that.
Camavinga.
Specs data sheet
Well,
comparison.
considering the form book, Stuart, Kylian Mbappe has got to be taken seriously here.
Well, it's his ability with the ball at his feet that makes him such a good player. He can go past defenders with ease, he can play in tight areas, and he has that bit of trickery as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing him play today.
Their version of this versus Intel's version, right? Because it's kind of the idea where Intel has their P cores and E cores, their performance cores and their efficiency cores. However, with Intel's version, AMD
and
is
space to cross it.
That they have
he takes aim. Well, he made contact with the crossbar. Goal kick here.
They're claiming that all their cores can improve gaming performance and would not need the OS to schedule for gaming versus not gaming. They're claiming, again, so you wouldn't need that OS schedule doing quite as much. They're efficient, their C cores,
oh, this is looking promising.
Still support multi-threading.
Well, he got his head on it, but not quite right.
They're saying all their cores have the same IPC and all of them run the same instruction set. So they're, those are their claimed advantages versus Intel's E cores. Again, this is a marketing slide, so.
Griezmann.
Of course, they're going to make
Chouameni.
Now,
and it's through here. Oh, it was a close run thing, but the goalkeeper just got there first.
If you look at Zen 4 versus Zen 4C, which one's the better use in multi-threaded task?
Getting in there to intercept.
Orange line here.
Well, the supporters think it's on. Well, he read that brilliantly at the back.
The red line is using 2 Zen 4 cores and 4 Zen 4C cores. And you can see that when we're down at 10 watts, the efficient cores are producing a better output at that power consumption level. But that
progress has been made by Luka Modric.
The orange bar of the normal cores does surpass the
Karim Benzema. Well, he had the measure of it, the goalkeeper.
A certain power budget level, right? So basically in ultra low powered situations, this
corner
would be
kick
a
played
more
in.
efficient design.
Can they put it away?
And that's
they can keep possession
the main,
now.
Benefit that you would be looking for here. That's where the main optimization comes from.
Being pressed hard.
Which is pretty interesting. Again, I think that's pretty much what we're looking at here.
Olivier Giroud.
Overall, I think one of the other
he looks threatening.
is that
Griezmann! And it goes! The opening goal in this contest!
So you have the 75-45 view and 75-40 view, where we have a 6-core 12-thread variant and a 4-core 8-thread variant.
1-0 then.
Cores available here, but then also whereas their previous APUs here came
Kunde. Well read to put an end to that attack.
Still pretty interesting.
And the referee takes exception to the challenge. Free kick.
How one of these would perform in a Steam Deck style.
Trying to place that one. Didn't get it quite right though.
Because we've seen the Steam Deck at low power targets, like 15 watts and below.
Giroud making that run and succeeding.
Competitors
but
like
quick thinking defensively.
Which have the, basically a 780M equivalent type GPU.
Karim Benzema.
At those lower power budgets, sometimes Steam Deck is actually more efficient.
A back and forth sort of match.
So
now they're level
if,
again. The lead lasted nearly minutes.
Core counts here, if the increased efficiency on the CPUs there might be interesting in that style of device, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now,
they're underway again here on the back of that leveler.
One of the big things that was missed with their 14th gen launch, or at least it wasn't completely missed, but wasn't talked about or tested a whole lot in the coverage that I saw.
In a position from which they could potentially do a bit of damage here.
Which would optimize...
Must take the lead here.
Somehow software optimized the scheduling or the core behavior for specific games to offer some performance.
Toni Kroos.
Now, one of the big issues with this that I've seen is apparently
bodies forward and the break looks on.
With certain motherboards and
Benzema! Well, it was a superb counter-attack. Not such high marks for the finish.
Well, the build-up to the shot was great. Good defending, quick transition, and excellent movement. It just needed a much better finish.
The main reviews, but Intel does claim some big performance bumps.
Well, nicely cut out.
Using this. Basically, they're saying, now understand that some threads are in high demand at
Toni
one
Kroos.
not so high demand at another.
Benzema.
You don't want to tax the CPU with that because
here's Modric.
and
no way through.
The next iteration is this. What APO does is we test the
A
game
sloppy
and see,
pass.
okay, this might benefit from a fine-tuning of the policy just because of the unique way the game behaves.
Federico Valverde.
And we do now see some independent testing showing
Modric
some
waiting.
performance gains.
And foiled only by the crossbar.
Although again,
well, Real could easily be leading now. They're certainly looking threatening. You just sense a goal is coming here.
Well, having been denied by the woodwork, now the focus is on keeping the opposition at bay.
Something like this, in my opinion, but it is cool and possibly worth
Benzema
look at if you are already buying the
is with Vinicius Junior.
Now let's talk about some
to take it
driver
away.
updates. So AMD has a new GPU driver, adding Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 support
Giroud.
and others. But they're also putting
Chance to put them in front.
speed-ups for certain
Well, how about that
GPUs
for a piece of
and,
tackling to break
APUs
things
in
up?
certain programs.
And so there
It's
it is.
looking like this could include apps such as Stable Diffusion, Adobe Lightroom, DaVinci Resolve, Procyon AI, things like that. This would be for 7,000 GPUs and up, or you could be seeing some of those benefits. I think this driver is also coming with a Radeon Boost feature for Alan Wake 2. Radeon Boost is where on quick camera pans, it actually lowers the render resolution of the game. It's like dynamic resolution scaling on quick movement, where perhaps the motion blur of the movement itself makes the lower pixel count less noticeable. It's an interesting feature. I've never found it particularly useful with gaming myself, but they are, looks like adding support for that in Alan Wake 2. Again, some more game support on the list. Now, also interestingly, in a separate driver update, so not part of that main branch, AMD is releasing finally a new graphics driver for Polaris and Vega architecture GPUs, which, according to this videocards.com article, is the first in 2 months. By the way, all of my sources will be in the video description, as usual, if I haven't already mentioned that. So Polaris and Vega are not forgotten, but it does seem like the driver updates for them have been slowing down a bit and not necessarily part of the main unified driver branch at this point in time. Now, in NVIDIA GPU driver news, they did release a hotfix driver addressing some Alan Wake 2 and
Away they go again.
bugs.
Second half is
like
underway
specifically
here.
They're saying that there was gradual stability and performance degradation over extended periods of gameplay in Alan Wake 2, and this hotfix should address that, and some Windows 10 transparency issues and such in that hotfix.
Passing it around, looking for the goal that would put them ahead. Really a very poor ball.
For Stable Diffusion. Now, I was trying to figure
And the
out
counter-attack
exactly
is
what
on,
this
options
does,
available.
because I was seeing some people talking about it as if this was opening up system
Going
memory
well.
for use in Stable Diffusion.
But they dealt with the threat posed.
Reading this article on the topic, it seems like it might be actually shifting other things out of video.
Well, he has plenty of battle
so
scars and he knows how to lead a line, Karim Benzema. It's going pretty well for him.
Well, they weren't at their best, but with that equaliser, you can see why he's so important to this team. Hopefully they can get more of the ball to him in the second half so he can show us his ability.
Well, lovely work to get past his man. Will he play it in?
Articles on the topic will be linked in the video description.
Insufficient guile on the crossing front, you've got to say.
Digital is splitting into 2 companies. One focused on
Just clarify the injury situation. Our man on the side of the pitch is Jeff Shreves.
Nasty landing on the shoulder for him there, and he's in real discomfort. He's a tough boy. I think he'll stay on.
Cheers, Jeff.
Something like that, split can happen with the Western Window branding.
Hernandez. Griezmann in the middle. It might still be problematic. I think the threat has been averted.
Why exactly they're going to make that split?
Well, the counter chance looks very real.
Some kind of financer, investor stuff behind the
He has
scenes,
time to play it over. It's a cross towards the near post. Well, at one point on its flight, I wondered if the keeper would have difficulties, but no problems in the end.
Including FSR 2.2.
Well, we have 30 minutes to go.
Previously, when the game launched, it only had FSR 1 support, which is just a spatial upscaler, and I'll be honest, when I tried it out,
A bit sloppy in possession.
pretty bad, because you're so far out from your character
And France
models,
pushing
they're so
forward with
small,
options available.
like the features, details, and things like that.
A really top-notch piece of defending.
Used, in my opinion, so it's nice to see an FSR 2.2 update. I'm curious to test the
Clear
game out on
foul,
my
but a
Steam
Real
Deck and
Madrid
see
advantage.
If that makes it a little more
Benzema.
usable on the Steam Deck in more limited areas, but haven't had a chance to play around with it.
Using all his defensive acumen to cut it out.
In other FSR-related news, we're seeing FSR technology reported to next-gen Samsung and Qualcomm smartphones. So there is some kind of partnership.
He's going forward well here.
Where we're seeing
France come away with it.
Samsung and Qualcomm have decided to jointly develop FSR in order
Return to Mbappe.
NVIDIA's DLSS, and it is anticipated that FSR technology will be implemented in Samsung's Galaxy.
And given away, and the emphasis is on creativity.
Now I'm assuming this is
Griezmann prepared to fire, and the keeper taking care of the situation.
Platforms, as opposed to.
Unless you can see from those stats, they're just not creating enough. They need to play at a quicker tempo, get the ball into the danger area and get more players in the box. Make the opposition have to defend it.
And they still don't have the ball. That has been a recurring theme.
Especially at lower resolutions and lower resolutions.
Well, an attempt to forget all about, unfortunately.
Yeah, got it all wrong, trying to pass it into the corner, opened up his body, but didn't make the right sort of contact.
However, while it's apparently on UE5, there is no use
Theo
of
Hernandez.
Nanite and no plans to implement them in the future. And there's no DLSS 3 or FSR 3 at launch, but
this attack looks highly promising. Diaby, just the tackle that was needed.
In other, I'm going to put this after the other Baldur's Gate, whatever. Anyway, in other Baldur's
Can they
Gate
do something
news, we are
positive
seeing,
on the counter-attack?
Testing stage on Xbox, so a 2023 release on Xbox would still be in the cards if all
Vinicius Jr. unable to get himself back on side here.
Well, he was always going to be offside. That was the wrong option.
So a personnel change then.
Making a AAA fantasy MMO Ghost. And also, in recent gaming news, we're seeing Naughty God.
It's not lost on them what a goal could mean at this late stage.
Available on PC. Now,
Coman,
I thought this was some kind of
fractionally
official,
offside.
Port, but it looks like this is an unofficial port being done by the team behind OpenGOAL, and does require a copy of the original release in order to run. This is part of an ongoing
Rudiger.
project to mimic the original Go language.
10 minutes to go then.
And as accurate as
Oh, that's a
possible.
pass of high quality. Oh, good save to keep them level.
Well, at this stage of the game, that's a vital stop. Fantastic from the keeper.
Last thing I'll talk about is
Well, Real Madrid are going to make the change now.
A bit about their upcoming OLED gaming monitor lineup. Now, if you've followed my channel for a while, you know I am a very big fan of gaming on OLEDs. Now, currently I have the Alienware ultra-wide 1440p OLED that I'm using right now as I film this video, and I also have a 4K LGC1 OLED that I also make use of over there, and I am interested in upgrading the 4K screen because it's only 120 Hz, which is good, but it would be nice to have higher frame rate support, but also the 48-inch size on the LGC1 is quite a bit for a desk space. So I'm particularly interested in...
So deciding to make a personnel change at this juncture. Let's see about the delivery. Not all that convincing defensively. Well, another corner following on from the last one.
Pretty much everything I'm looking for in a 4K gaming monitor. If they do end up delivering on on actual reviews when they come out there. We're also going to be seeing some 1440
clear.
monitors at 360
Corner
hertz
again.
so that we can do as well with the 7-inch. It seems like OLED is. This could be the year next year where OLED pretty much has every kind of resolution and size that you would really be, and refresh rate that you would be looking for. So awesome stuff there. That's what I've got for you guys today in the gaming PC hardware and software news space, and I hope all of you have an excellent day.
Good morning, John. It is your younger, but still quite old brother Hank. So sometime in the last 10 years, it became pretty normal to talk about parasocial relationships. They've always been a thing. When I was in high school, I was obsessed with Gordon Gano and Helen Hunt. You can have a parasocial relationship with fictional characters stretched far back enough.
Decided that now is the time to go to the bench. Well, they are committed to making the substitution here. Whipped in by Griezmann. Well, decent effort, but not troubling the keeper too much.
Ended up being correct. I said that there is not happening, and eventually was corrected.
Still level. Real Madrid continue to look for what could be a winner. Benzema waiting. A bit short with the clearance.
Because, well,
takes the shot. Terrific block there. Must be. And a goal. This is why we adore this game. Late drama. And now they're in front.
Some benchmarks. And, well, the point is, though, those benchmarks at the time were underwhelming. But to be fair, I was also told that they were coming from non-final silicon.
So there we have it, 2-1.
Really weren't built to test efficiency or show the final performance.
Well, time is against them. They have work to do.
Although I did say that I didn't expect it to run.
Well, he couldn't worry the keeper with that effort.
Not like 30%. And that's because the power consumption I was seeing, which I didn't want to talk about, but I thought too many people would misquote it. Well, today, I have almost final Meteor Lake Silicon.
And the referee says that is that, and no points rather than 3. Not exactly what they had in mind, Stuart.
That was a poor result for them today, and not a great performance. They certainly need to adjust.
Protect a source, and then a multi-threading score that.
Yep, not a good thing.